Welcome everybody. It's Biggs 8500. Here today with my friend TheGaytheist. We're gonna basically start off by talking about some capitalism versus communism. We're just kind of having a nice, polite discussion. Hopefully, it won't get too heated or anything. But I'm gonna go to Gaytheist now and let him introduce himself and tell him a little about himself and go from there. So. I appreciate everybody coming to hang out, and hopefully it'll be a nice conversation. So here we go. Welcome, Atheist. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Good. Glad you could come out and have a nice conversation with me tonight. First, I just wanted to let you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself a little bit. I don't know how much you want to get into, but just kind of give a brief description of who you are, a little bit about like what your leanings are, views, and then we can kind of go from there.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm the Gaytheist. It stands for Gay Atheist, by the way. I'm pretty, I would say, left-leaning. I am pretty progressive, like socially and also economically. I believe that, specifically giving more power to the working class, since that's like 99% of the population, usually benefits just general society, especially because I don't really care for people who don't usually like earn their money through work. Um, and secondly, I'm also pretty just progressive socially. I think that a lot of social conservatism just stems from upholding power structures and the status quo. And I think that that's not useful for creating a
What's
more
up, Looter?
equitable and just free society. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. So I'll just give a little background of why we're kind of here today. So I don't know, about a week ago, you had posted in the Discord about having an interesting take on the capitalism versus communism debate, um, and what you kind of thought about that. So we had kind of talked about having this conversation, and now today is finally the day we were able to actually get things going. And I do want to apologize that I was late. We were supposed to have this at 8 o'clock, but I got held up by the family. So, but I appreciate you being here. So yeah, so I kind of want to just first start and get the kind of like the very basics. So I just kind of want to like have you let me know what your definition of capitalism and communism are. I know you said you had kind of like a spicier take. I don't know if that was like on the definitions or like more of like the actual like policy and outcomes, but you can just let's start there. I think that's a good place to start, and we can kind of just see where the conversation takes us.
Sure. So capitalism is more of a system about how wealth is distributed. And more of a system where people work and people produce things, people who own the like means of production, basically people who own like the business, people who own the farm, whatever, regardless of what any individual worker produces. At the end of the day, the government or the state, the people who have a monopoly on violence, recognizes that that is that person's property and that they can do with it what they choose. Communism, however, is a stateless, classless society because clearly, from my definition of capitalism, they seem to go hand in hand. As in, the only way that your actual property or your actual claims to what you own is enforced is through a state. If you actively remove that state, then you actively remove that power to kind of influence people out of their own labor. And basically, in a communist society, you're basically almost allowed to kind of do what you want, as long as it doesn't interfere with the livelihoods of others. Usually, resources are considered available to everyone, land, housing, etc. And that's just my general definition of communism.
Okay, yeah, that seems to be the. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of debate on what capitalism is and what communism actually is, but I think those are pretty two sound definitions on both. My personal opinion is that capitalism is basically where the private individuals hold the means of production, which is basically what you said there, which I think is, like I said, a reasonable definition of it. And communism, and again, this was the one I was a little more interested in finding what your take was, because sometimes they People who advocate for communism will say that it's a, like you said, classless, stateless, moneyless society. And others will say that it could be more of a actually state included society. So it's kind of like that kind of definition gets kind of debated on, since basically the induction of these concepts to begin with. But I think that those are a good foundation to start from. So, what do you think is the take that you were kind of wanting to discuss, um, and what are your feelings, and kind of like what did you want to kind of get out of this conversation?
Um, those are a lot of interesting questions. What my original take was is something I still kind of stand behind is the idea that I didn't really get the difference between capitalism and communism in terms of the idea of consent. Currently, under a representative republic, under a democracy, even our constitution, all of these things are liable to change. As in, everything in the constitution, everything in the like current legal system that we have now can change. We've changed amendments. When originally we had like the three-fifths clause as a part of the Constitution, now that is
Hmm.
completely null and void with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. So even things that like our founding fathers wrote in the Constitution themselves can be undone with what we say now, the Constitution, what the laws should be. So to me, I felt like at the end of the day, the main difference between capitalism and communism was people, as in people coming in and saying, you know what, these groups of people have the right to wealth and these group of people don't. And so that was kind of like my exploration of is there anything like more fundamentally different between capitalism and communism than that? Like when I think of a communist society, I just think of a majority of people wanting communism. And when I think of a capitalist society, I just think of a majority of people wanting capitalism. I don't think anything fundamental about the system changes because at the end of the day, as long as your actions can impact other people, it just seems most reasonable that our like governing system will be basically a democracy. So like to me, that just seems like the fundamental way that things go. Um, Rights don't exist unless most people agree you should have it. So to me, it's like, yeah, it doesn't seem like any other real change to the system is made other than like all it seems to me all that communists have to do is just convince people that the bourgeoisie shouldn't exist, and then you have communism.
Okay. So, do you think that I'm just kind of, so they're basically the same, but you still would lean towards advocating for a communist system overall?
Um, what I want, I would
Hey,
describe what I
Couchman.
want more along the lines of I would guess market socialism with heavy wealth tax. I think that just like some parts of our democracy are inspired by monarchy, just like the pardoning power of the president, I think that some aspects of the new, more socialist slash communist system will be inspired by capitalism. And that's because there is some efficiency in managerial positions and people basically being able to like run the show. Just like in a democracy, it's very important to have people who can, be used in terms of emergency powers because Congress can be really slow and having a president who can enact policy fast enough. So having a person who is paid more or incentivized more to run things and have the ability to claim to some things is nice. And I think is decently effective in very limited circumstances, just like I believe like the president's power. So what I want more is a more like market, I think it's called market socialism, where basically no one CEO is like making billions of dollars, but mostly you're making money. And depending on the industry and depending on like whatever value you produce. So it's more like that. Like if you're a scientist that creates something really cool, you get more. And if you just a person just working every day, making like, I don't know, hamburgers, you get less. Everyone has, of course, strong social safety nets, housing security, food security, and things like that. But there is still like room for people to earn more if they do more. And
Okay.
that's kind of the system that I'm moving towards.
So more towards like mixed economic system where it's just a more
Yeah.
um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a more generous redistribution of wealth kind of thing, where um, people are even on the lower levels. Because obviously, based on what you said there, you do seem to have a appreciation for like a hierarchy still being there, because obviously um, the velocity that it gives companies to make decisions and things like that. So um, now, since this isn't really now you're leaning more towards like the socialist side, so we can kind of go down that route. Do you think that the um because most generally socialism is kind of defined where like the workers own the means of production through either like democratic co-ops and things like that. Do you think that that's something that we should push more for in this country, especially as a stepping stone towards a more socialist overall mixed economy? Because to me, it seems like now we have a mixed economy, we have social safety nets and stuff like that, but it does seem to skew more towards the capitalist side, and much less so towards the socialist side. And I think that that's personally, from my own, my own take, is that that's better to lean more towards capitalism than socialism. But would you say that that would be something as like more of a stepping stone to kind of get to that next level of, more, I guess you'd call it like fair distribution of wealth and things like that?
Yeah, I think it would be good. I guess for me, it's just when I see a lot of things about the way that people work, and especially the kind of like boss and hierarchical narrative right now. Just like I think that, democracy isn't perfect, but like monarchy is just terrifying. I think that like even though certain aspects of the kind of market socialism that I'm going for won't be great, I think that it's just like objectively better than what we have now. The idea that like a worker who has been working in the business to 10 to 12 years has absolutely no say on like how that business functions is just mind-boggling to me. And obviously implementing a system where employees have say in who the CEO is, what's the produce, and how many hours work is going to be incredibly tricky. I don't know if anyone like just realized this, but creating a country is not easy. Creating a functional
Oh, I think
system
we
is
can
not
all agree
easy.
on that. It's not an easy task.
Yeah, it's definitely just crazy, but I think that if we get enough time and enough business models, because that's the one benefit of making it a business model instead of a country model, there are a lot more room for errors that can allow more businesses to try and explore different like leadership and structural styles that allow workers to have different say in different areas. And I think that just naturally over time, people will see like, hey, if I'm working at this worker co-op and we have this like weekly or monthly meeting where we get to vote on things and I have a lot more security and say and insurance and stuff like that, I think people will begin to realize how like valuable this type of stuff is, and we'll just naturally move towards that.
Okay. So what do you think about so like one of the arguments I know that people say, and this is kind of one of the ones I like as well. You got race cars going on by you, huh? uh,
Yeah, it's people. Sorry.
that's fine. It's all good. I would say that that capitalism does provide for those same opportunities, where people, if they decide to, can join co-ops, and we've seen a few here in the states, not so many, but I know the big one that they always talk about that like Richard Wolff always dotes on is the Mondragon in Europe, and I believe it's Spain or I don't remember if it's Spain or Portugal, but it's in Europe, and but I would say that you can still have these same co-op type businesses in the capitalistic system as well, without having to have the more stringent and like forceful push of like only socialism, or like pushing towards communism. Like how would you rebut that type of an argument?
Um, I guess for me, I would say that the main part of any capitalist system is to maximize profit, not human happiness. So that even though there could be some sort of like equilibrium between the amount of worker co-ops to non-worker co-ops in a capitalist system, it doesn't mean that it will necessarily be good. Um, And so I could see if someone asked me, would I imagine some government policy enforcing some worker co-ops in some ways in some areas? I'd say, yeah, I would, because I think that not every business is really looking out for their, I would even say long-term economic stability. We've seen this time and time again where businesses, banks, places that have millions of dollars in exposable income for some reason can't get their finances in order and just go bankrupt over a couple of years. So to me, it just seems like when it comes to capitalism, like, no, it's not the best thing to just let roam free until it crashes. I think that just putting in some policy that says, hey, you're going to have to treat your workers somewhat equitably is going to be overall favorable for just general society.
But don't you think that if those options are available, that workers would try to move towards those co-ops, due to like higher wages or better benefit, whatever they whatever that specific co-op would be, like their like main draw, whether it's better pay, better insurance, whatever that might be, better working conditions. Like I think if it was something that was really um, like that popular and that and again I do think there is some level of like education about this that people might not be as familiar with that type of structure, but which I think is something that people that are advocates for those systems can push for. But I think that in the long run, if those things are more profitable and have better working conditions for individuals that work there and things like that, like I think that those would eventually take over. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So what do you think might be some of the
Um,
the reasons for that?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, and it's just a well-known fact about market socialism, that it's incredibly hard to start up a worker co-op because it usually takes a group of people who agree on a set of standards, which is knowing human beings is incredibly hard.
Very true. Yep.
Then to actually start a business. And even though they're more stable than your average hierarchical business, even though they tend to be more successful, that startup is really hard. And then the next part is expansion because it's a lot harder to get an employee that you trust and get an employee that you like want versus someone that you're basically in a capitalist system just contracting in that you can almost fire at a moment's notice with very limited government prevention, right? Because you can't do it on the basis of race, sexuality, stuff like that. But like other than that, as long as it's a tiny, even somewhat reasonable reason, you can do it.
Yeah.
So that's mhm.
I'll continue. I was going to talk, but I thought you were done. But keep going.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of like a big difference between like a democracy versus a dictatorship, where in a dictatorship it's really easy to conquer, really easy to expand. And even though we all agree, like, yeah, that dictatorship is very unstable, it doesn't say anything about how fast that dictatorship or that monarchy grows. And even though the democracy is clearly more stable, it will grow a lot slower. I mean, you can look at immigration in the United States right now. It's even under Biden, it's fairly limited on the number of people who want to come here versus the number of people who can come here. And I think the same thing will apply to worker co-ops, where in very limited circumstances where a group of people do get the resources and do begin to slowly expand, there are going to be plenty of people who say, like, man, I would love to work here, but just the numbers are not there. And so, like, as a government, we can either start putting in policies that make capitalists like companies either more stable automatically for their workers, or we put in like more financial incentives and funding towards worker co-ops to get them off the ground in different industries.
Yeah. So I think that from what I've read is that a lot of the issues that worker co-ops have is like trouble finding like investments or loans. A lot of that, there's some things that people aren't so sure about the like level of success, even though it's been shown, at least for the most part. Again, this is me just kind of like steel manning your argument here that a lot of these corporations, these co-ops have um, basically barriers to entry that some of the other more capitalist interests don't have. And some of that is part of the fact that the capitalist system itself kind of is prejudiced against this whole co-op system. Therefore it kind of puts these like artificial roadblocks along the way. But the one thing I never really understood about co-ops was about like what you mentioned about like expanding and like hiring new employees and stuff like that. Especially when you think of things like the shared ownership of the company. So, and I don't know how much you know about like the specifics, but I was always curious, and maybe you do know, like how does that work with like in this system, or how would you want it to work if you're not 100% sure of how it does now? Like, what would you expect it to work like? Let's say a company has 100 employees and they want to in their co-op and they want to expand. Let's say they want to expand to like 20 more employees. Like, how does that like? What do you think that looks like? And how would they go about implementing that to get those people the same level of investment in the company right off the bat? And how does that work if people leave the company? This, let's say people want to leave, so like how do you know how that works at all? Because I'm not 100% sure. Maybe even if you want to just go down like a hypothetical like idea path, like what you might think that might look like or what it does look like, if you do know, like I just because I really just am curious. What's up, Liza?
So I guess I would be for me, I'm a little bit familiar with the way that some worker co-ops run, but I guess for me, like the way that I would answer the question of how do you manage new people coming in, I believe it's kind of similar to a country where if you're coming in, there's like degrees of stability. As in, if you work here 1 year, that says something about you. If you work here 2 years, that says something about you. And just like you need to live here like a certain amount of years in the United States before you can like acquire, I believe, full naturalization. It would be the same thing in the business where you have to actually put in some time to be invested and dedicated and a stable worker. Um, I
Like
guess
a
right now,
vesting
like if
period,
you were just really,
basically. That's
yeah,
like, 'cause you have the same thing
to
for
me.
like different types of benefits for like I know I worked at um a state job, and I you had to be there for a certain amount of time to get the pension vested, things like that. But oh, thank you, Stickpole, for the follow. Thank you. Awesome. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, that would be the way that I see that working. In terms of the firing, I just legitimately like do not know. Hypothetically speaking, I would assume like as long as that person is leaving on good terms, I feel like they're just kind of they either leave with like some amount of compensation or some limited amount, like you
Okay.
get insurance for the next 6 months or something like that, under the business, even though you're not working there. But I assume there is like a legitimate cutoff to where those benefits have so that you're not permanently in that company anymore. But I would just probably try to find a person or just Google it about like how firing and worker co-ops work.
Yeah, I've looked into it a little bit, but I just never really found very good, clear answers. I mean, I've kind of figured that's how it would go, especially for like the firing, like obviously like some type of like severance package, just like normal jobs, things like that. But one thing I have heard in one of the other barriers that these type of companies might have is with like outside investment. Like a lot of them, they're for one they don't have as much incentive for people to invest in, but I don't know how much they are able, and that's part of what you said earlier about like the slow growth. Do you think that might be one of the things where like because they don't have that opportunity to kind of like get outside investment that kind of harms their ability to function, or do you think it's just like kind of like people are too impatient, that's why these haven't kind of been the more popular avenue, or anything like that?
I would say it's a combination of both. The thing that a lot of people also don't put about like American company is that their workers become more of a liability in a worker co-op, as in they have a lot more say. And so a CEO or a group of board members can't like start firing people or create massive changes in where and how people work on a dime's notice when it becomes inefficient for the market. So even though again they're like more stable, they're also a lot more strict in the way that some people like work and the way that the business functions because again, in our democracy, we have a constitution, we have a Congress. When a dictatorship, laws can change at the drop of a hat. And so a lot of these people who are investing do like know to some extent that like working or workers, which is one of the biggest costs to a business, is going to be a lot more strict and a lot more like unmoving, so that profits will usually not increase as heavily as like one may expect, or the investment in business versus the capitalist business, which is able to kind of limit and negotiate against their workers, right? Negotiate and lobby for lower wages, lower benefits, and things like that. In a worker co-op, you want basically everyone wants as high as benefits as you can go, so it has that problem. But also, yeah, it's impatience. It's the idea that I guess like even right now, like I downloaded like several like stock apps, and just the idea of someone's growing faster than someone else, the idea that that person or that business may have a little bit more stability is not necessarily the most attractive thing to people who are investing, especially like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
You want to see kind of short, noticeable results rather than something very long term, very slow, and frankly, just a little kind of just new. Like people are very familiar with the capitalist structure. Worker co-ops, even though they've existed for a while, and you could say they've also been existing for hundreds of years if you consider like some family businesses, worker co-ops. But yeah, it's just not something I think a lot of investors are very attracted to. Again, they still get some investment, but just nowhere near the level of some of
Right.
these capitalist businesses.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to kind of take it back to the communism capitalism thing. What do you think is the mechanism to kind of get to where you're at, where you would like to see like the end goal be? So like obviously I know what with our current system we're not going to be able to change overnight. It's going to be a long gradual process. But what are some things that you would think would be kind of like the first steps towards this like your ideal economic system?
Probably just an increase in workers' rights. One of the biggest things that I think like would be the biggest steps that we could do pretty soon if we were willing to fight for it is an increase of the minimum wage with inflation. Because unlike a very big myth that like I think a lot of people like legitimately believe is that increase in the minimum wage just ruins an economy, which is very crazy because we've increased the minimum wage dozens of times in the United States, both on the state level and both federally. And several economists have already said, like, hey, if you look at the states who have, like my state right now, is increasing their minimum wage and is increasing their minimum wage with inflation. Other states have already done this where they have been, I'm pretty sure pre-COVID, have been increasing their minimum wage and inflation. And the idea that their economy just started tanking is just not true. Now, I understand that like for businesses, there is some financial incentive to move like more south, where there are still the ability to kind of live in the United States and call yourself an American company and have access to American resources while also delivering goods to other states and being able to sell them and distribute them for a lower price. But I think that if we were to federally say, like, the only way that you could call yourself an American business is by giving your workers this amount of minimum wage and giving your workers this amount of benefits, then that would create like such a hard line for these companies to start
Hey, Rhodes
passing,
Gold, how you doing?
and say, okay, well,
Thanks for
now
stopping
our
by.
workers have to be earning this, this, and this. And workers now have a lot more bargaining power because if the minimum wage is $15 an hour, then if you really want to entice me to work somewhere else that makes me work a lot harder, then you have to give me a lot more than 15. And so that's what I'm kind of like hoping for now is that people, especially a lot of people within the working class, realize their worth and realize that the economy isn't run on like libertarianism, laissez-faire capitalism. Like it's just a myth that this stuff like just destroys economies. So
I,
that's what I think one of the biggest goals is.
okay, so I definitely do agree with you. Like I like the whole idea of like workers being protected. I think obviously, like we've seen throughout history, there's been some pretty ridiculously bad working conditions, especially back in the early years of the country, um, and things like that. A lot of like obviously we had slavery, which is like obviously the most egregious, but even later on we had child labor issues where you'd have these little kids that would go work in these shops and things like that, and work in these factories because they can get their hands in the machinery where the adults couldn't. Just like all this like horrific stuff, right? So I'm all for that. But one thing I do think is kind of the crux with the whole minimum wage issue is that, for one, my personal belief, and I know this is like, one of the things that's debated on all the time, is I don't think there should be any federal minimum wage. I think that should not be something that the federal government should even be involved in. For one reason is because every area is different. What you might need to survive in one state, especially in like some of the higher cost of living states like New York and California, is going to be completely different than what would be required for somebody in like Iowa or like Nebraska or something like that, right? So I think that is one thing. I think that should be more on the states to decide personally. Um, but also, I think the problem with the whole thing that kind of ties into that with minimum wage is it's not so much that they don't want to increase the minimum wage. 'Cause like you said, we've increased minimum wage throughout history of this country, right? It's gone up slowly. Obviously, it's been behind inflation, which I also don't agree with either. But I think right now the issue is that the 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 extreme jump of the number that people are trying to push for, which is basically they're trying to double it. And I think a lot of that, the problem and the pushback comes from, businesses that are going to be, it's the shock of that amount of change that is going to be the problem. And what's happening, especially during the COVID pandemic, of what we've seen is these large, huge mega corporations are able to kind of sustain through these, and they end up sucking up all the stuff from these smaller, you know, businesses, and basically just becoming the rich getting even richer, and these like middle level basically disappearing. But again, that's kind of like my personal take. I think it should be more towards the states to decide wages. But I do see especially for like unions, I think unions are great if they're done correctly. I think part of the reason why, and I think you'd probably agree with this too, is that when they're done well and they're actually striving for workers' protections as far as like their actual working conditions, wages, insurance, stuff like that, no problem. But we've seen specifically in things like, police, education, like these people that are protected that really shouldn't be there. There's a lot of bad police officers that get protected, shuffled around because of the unions. We have a lot of teachers that basically can't get fired because the unions protect them and things like that. And I think that's the bad side of the union. What I would like to see is maybe some union reform, and then I'm all for it. And I think you'd probably agree because it's pretty much a, you know, middle of the road take, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely think that when it comes to some police unions and teachers unions, just the idea of workers' rights, that's why I usually try to encourage more, I want to say transparency, but more consistency in the law, especially when it comes to police. There is a lot of leeway that the law gives police officers that most, like almost any other job, just does not have at all, which allows like individuals in the policing system, in the criminal justice system, a lot of leeway, which allows unions to abuse them in the first place. And that's why I like want more consistency on what like an officer clearly can and clearly cannot do. Because as we know from statistics, that leeway is always racialized, is always sexualized, as in men and women are treated very differently in these systems. Age is a huge thing. And at the end of the day, like rule of law says, forget all of that. You committed a crime, you deserve a punishment for a crime, right? And there is some very limited context that's important, but other than that, I just think that like you deserve like a very clear punishment for that. And so I don't really blame like police unions. They're just using whatever leeway that they have. But I think that's more on like the criminal justice system. I also think like teachers and doctors are in a very unique spot because they're very critical careers. As in like without teachers, without doctors, you just don't have a functional society. Like you literally cannot function with as a country without education and health. It will literally go to pieces quickly. So if we have to create some like very limited like union adjustment laws in those areas, I can understand the reasoning behind them. But like as long as we make a lot of these people like on some sort of federal wage or like federal support systems to support them. And I think it balances out because most other unions are completely reliant on their business. So if you limit the power of unions, you should at least increase the social safety nets of these groups. So that would be kind of my response to those unions. But I did want to say like one more myth, because this is getting back to like economics and trickle down economics of the idea that yes, larger businesses can afford minimum wage better than smaller businesses, but this does not make larger businesses richer. What usually happens is like a lot of people believe that if you increase the cost of like work, it will cause the business to like increase prices drastically or begin to like slurp up all of the other businesses who can't. And I would say, one, find me a business who can't pay their workers like a $15 minimum wage that can actually compete with Amazon. Because if that's your biggest issue, then like, no, you're not competing with Amazon.
Right.
Um,
One of the things though with that too is like that's why they have some like specific things written into like contracts and stuff like that. So like I know one of the ones that I know is that they had a big to do about Amazon doing diapers because they were worried that they were basically going to put all other diaper sellers out of business and basically just corner that market, right? But what ended up happening was is they ended up having to say that they couldn't undercut certain prices, otherwise they would be found to be like antitrust law type stuff, right? So we do have those protections, and I think that's kind of where I lean towards generally is like I'm not for complete free market. I think that full on laissez-faire capitalism is probably bad, just like I think full on like authoritarian socialism or communism is bad. I think we need to find that balance, and I think that's really the key. But one of the things that I also find hard to um, hard to see from the communist and socialist side is how you can achieve these goals with less like government or state intervention than like capitalism. So like to me, I think capitalism runs best when it's regulated, like reasonably regulated. But the problem I have with like socialism and communism is that they're more forced upon. And I think that's a lot of people's fear is that, especially for like just general like lay people like me, is that I see socialism and communism, and I think it's kind of like generally accepted through obviously the propaganda of the Red Scare in the past and like the 50s and all that stuff, and the whole Cold War and through the 80s and whatnot. And now the communist China, but I do think that we've seen all these things throughout history, and they always end up in this like either authoritarian or totalitarian dictatorships where I think people are scared to kind of go down that route. And I know that's kind of like peeled off a little bit recently with the more progressive left here in this country, but I do think that that's one of the biggest fears people have is they're worried about like being forced to do things they don't want to do. And I think that the whole basis of our country is more on the individualism and the right to pursue your own goals as long as you're not infringing on other people. So where do you kind of stand on like how we can push for this stuff without ending up in the pitfalls that we've had every other time in history?
Well, I really want to make clear that a lot of these other pitfalls were just like authoritarian type dictatorship fights, where these were people creating revolutions and then people immediately betraying the powers of these revolutions to establish themselves. Because I think that's the ultimate problem with revolution is that it just the immediate amount of instability
Yeah, it's the
and
power
immediate
vacuum.
change.
They always create a
Yeah,
power
yeah,
vacuum, and somebody fills that vacuum.
yeah. So that's the problem that I have. I guess that's also partially why I'm a how do people describe it? Uh, it's also partially the reason why I'm a sock them. Um, that would be like the way that I describe it. Where I believe that just like the change between feudalism and the change between feudalism and capitalism came between people just making a lot of like moral, philosophical, ethical changes, cultural changes. Um, that's the same thing that will happen with like socialism and communism, where people will become more aware of how their system limits their freedoms and limits their ability to live in this world. Because just like I think authoritarianism is bad, I think a lot of people just believe that like your boss telling you what to do isn't authoritarianism, right? It's just a contract. And that's what I think people need to fundamentally like change is the way they view the working class and the way they view like the system we have now. So that's what I'm advocating for, class consciousness, basically, just making people more aware that in capitalism, like it isn't really freedom if your boss tells you to do something, and if you don't do it, you lose health benefits, you lose retirement plans, you lose dental, you lose any form of psychological care. That isn't freedom. That isn't any more free than any sort of authoritarian government. Because you need to be having the ability to make a choice, not literally have a gun to your head if you don't make it.
I still kind of, I want to push back against that a little bit because, um, when you boil things down, I think we've seen throughout. I mean, I don't think we have to worry about this right now. Hopefully not. But as you've seen throughout every civilization that's gone through human history, they all eventually will collapse. And I know this is kind of like a weird argument to take, but to me, I would like to try to have people as prepared as possible and as self-sufficient as possible. And I do think that there is a lot more to be said about the when people say like, well, like you said there with the you don't really have a choice because you're forced to do it, but you still do have a choice. Like you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're willing to deal with whatever those consequences might be. So if you want to do something that you want to like, start your own business and do that, you can. And if you want to like live at home with your parents, you can do that too. But what I think is kind of like a little bit of a false equivalency is when you're talking about the rights of the people to like have the choice, but it negates the fact that you're forcing other people to provide those services to begin with, and I think that's where the disconnect is. I don't think anybody should be forced to do anything they don't want to do, at least in the positive sense. Whereas I know like the passive sense is a little bit different. But I don't think the government should be able to force somebody to do something. Now, we've seen this now with the whole. We went about this yesterday and on other panels and stuff about the eviction moratorium. Where I have a problem with that is it's the government saying you cannot have control over your own private property. I do respect the rights of the tenants as well because they need protections too. That's why the contracts are in place. But I think that when the government starts stepping in and forcing people to do something or provide services, like that's why I have a hard problem. Like I'm all for like having some type of like universal health care, but it has to be a voluntary basis. You can't force people to pay and you can't force people to provide services just solely based on the government's authority. The government should be there to protect the rights of people, their positive rights, not their positive rights, and not not the negative rights. So that's my
Yeah, I
personal opinion on it.
Yeah, and I think the idea of the positive right is the important part here. That your freedom to live depends on your ability to gather food, shelter, water, clothing, as well as the government not killing you. So
Do you think
it's
that
a double-edged sword.
I just want to stop you just for one second. I want to ask you: do you think that the government's responsible for providing those things to everybody?
Um, no, I think the
Okay,
government is responsible for creating a system where people can get those things.
okay.
And I think that's a fundamental difference. So the analogy that I think communists use a lot is if a person is in a desert and they have no water, no food, no clothing, and no civilization within thousands of miles, right? There is no government stopping that person from getting food. There is no government threatening that person with a gun. But that person is not free in any way, shape, or form because freedom is not dictated by what the government prevents you from doing or what the government prevents itself from doing to you, but freedom is specifically dictated by what you can do within your own physical means. And so if you have a system where there is a person with several gallons of water and there is a person who is on the floor thirsty in this desert scenario, and people ask, okay, well, is the government within its means to come and enforce water from that one person who has too much of it to give it to the other person who has enough? The question is, like, what is the government doing in terms of that first person's freedom, in terms of the second person's freedom? As in, do we just allow the second person to be free to die and the first person to be free to just have excess water? Is
So
that the system
in that
like
case, I
mindful?
would say that the person who has the water is free to do what they want with the water. My caveat to this would be that it's also the person who's dying of thirst to find a way to negotiate what they can do for that person to get the water. And that's where we have the whole, agreement by consent. Obviously, if we're talking from like a morality standpoint, I would not, as a person, I don't think it would be morally right to let that person die. But again, I know these are very extreme cases. And I'm very glad you didn't use the desert island and the coconuts, because that's a bad one. I don't know if you know that whole deal about the coconuts and the thing that Bosch did a while back, but you should watch the VOD. It's pretty funny. But anyways,
I think I heard him use. I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, I'm just not trying to use it because I don't think it's
yeah.
important to my argument.
Right, I know,
I don't
but
know
but
what's the
but but but
problem
but
with
your
it.
but your idea is basically the same. You're saying that somebody has a resource, somebody doesn't. The person's gonna die or starve. That person's not free because of that thing. What I would say to you is that person still is free to choose how they can negotiate to get the water from the other person. So I think that that's perfectly fine, because everybody's free to do what they want. Now, I would say that if the government steps in, takes that half that person's water and gives it to somebody else, there I do see an actual right being violated. I don't see a right being violated by the person being, um, not deciding to do something to save themselves, and then, the other person not giving them the water. Like, to me, that's not the same thing. When you actually have force against you used to take something from you and give it to somebody else, that's a violation of your rights. That's an actual action against you.
Well, to me, the first situation is like horrible. I think that's terrible.
Well, I
It's like,
agree. I mean, it's a
I don't want to
terrible
use it.
hypothetical, right?
Well, well,
It's meant to be that way based on the argument, right?
well, yeah, but I think it's exactly equivalent to someone holding a gun to your head. If someone
In
holds
what
a gun to
regard?
your
What do you
head
mean
and you
that
say,
you?
well, yeah, they're free to negotiate with the gunman, what they can
But the
do
difference
to
is that
live.
the person holding the gun to your head is making an active act against your rights. That's, you see what I'm saying?
But you don't not you
What do you
don't
think?
care.
What about the
So at
trolley
least
problem? How do you feel about the trolley problem?
what about it?
The basic gist is you have a trolley that's going down the rails. You're at the lever. If the trolley continues to go straight through, it's going to kill 5 people. If you hit the button, it'll kill one person. Do you think it?
Yeah.
So, like, because you're making an active action to kill that one person by flipping the switch versus not doing anything and letting the 5 people die, there's a conundrum there, right? Because you're actually having to make an active action that is going to result in somebody's death. Whereas if you don't do anything, 5 people die. Then you break it down like, okay, well, if that one
Um
person's your mother, your father, like your sister, then you get like in down to the nitty gritty that obviously things change based on the circumstances. But like the conundrum is making active actions against somebody is a lot different than just not doing anything or a passive action.
well, no. Again, like I just don't functionally see the difference because that's all from, and this is what you kind of get into ethics and morality and questioning things from a communist perspective. That's all from the perspective of a person in a position of power.
So
What
I
you
would
have to
say,
realize is that
go ahead, you finish your point, and I'll get
if
back to
you're
this.
yeah, if you're actively on that track, the material change. Now, you could talk about religion and stuff like that, but from a secular perspective, the material change between someone making an active or passive decision that results in your death is nothing. Like it literally means nothing to any victim of anything that anyone does ever, whether or not it's active or passive. I think that when you start looking at things, you get too moral and you start not caring about the actual impacts
Thank
of
God for
your
food stamps,
actions. And
right?
I think that's what truly like matters of how you are affecting that person's life in material ways, because that's how you measure your life. You don't measure your life in like theory, right? I have a child, I have a wife, like I have physical things. I have a book, I have a gun, I have a computer, physical things that I measure like my life by. No one ever measures their actual conditions life by theoretical things of passiveness or activeness. You care about the physical things in life that you can interact with.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that, but I do think it's a little bit not, I don't want to say like not correct, but I do think you're kind of missing some of what I'm saying here with this, because if you think about the philosophical and theoretical argument that we had about the desert, right? There is no difference between the person having water and not giving it to the person that's dying versus that person not even being there, right? If the person that has the water just never existed, the outcome's going to be the same. So I would postulate that by having that person there with the water to give that person would be even infinitely more choice to the person that's dying of thirst, because they have then even more freedom to choose how they can achieve the goal, which is getting the water. And I feel the same way with the whole like the trolley experiment. This is why I kind of like, remove myself from the hypothetical, whereas it's, if you're there, you have to make an active decision to flip that switch to kill that one person, versus if you weren't there at all, those five people would still die. So to me, the actual action of doing whatever actions you take are the things that matter, not the things that you don't do. Now, I agree that as a moral person, you should be the one that would probably give the person water, and to probably, make it so five people don't die and only one person dies, regardless of, obviously, like I said, normally they'll like add on caveats where like, what if it's your like significant other that's the one person? Like, obviously those things change, but it's so hard for people to make those active actions for people that they don't even know, and that's where I think a lot of it. I mean, again, this is part of how our country's set up. Is for the most part, the Constitution and the way the U.S. is structured is to protect the rights of the individual over the rights of the state. The whole concept of the Constitution is what the government should not and cannot do, and everything else should be left up to the states. And that's where I think we are seeing now is like the government is so far beyond that. It's grown so large, the federal government. We're mandating these things for like places like California and New York to all these other places that don't necessarily benefit or are actually actively harmed by these policies. But I think we can agree that most of the time, and I think me and you kind of agree that we kind of want the same things, like overall. I just think it's the pathway to get there that's kind of like the murky waters that we need to figure out, like what avenues we can take to make the best possible outcomes and have the best possible chance of success. Because I think right now, with the way our actual politicians are, they're so far apart and they just want to argue with everything that we have had like such a grinding halt to like Congress. Like they couldn't even pass that like the eviction moratorium. Like that was something like the Supreme Court said, "Hey, you need to pass this from that, otherwise it's unconstitutional." They couldn't do it. So what's Biden and the CDC do? They say "F you" to the Supreme Court and do it anyways. And I think that that's where people are kind of getting upset and pushing back from these ideals, and that's what kind of like the whole reason why people were against these, socialistic and communistic ideologies, because they felt like it was going to be the government actively taking action against them to give to other people. When I think most people should try to be more generous in their own voluntary sense, and I think that's where we need to strive people and push people towards, to say, hey, if you have more to give, you should give more instead of just hoarding. I think that's the problem we have, and I do like your idea of especially like the upper echelon of like taxes being much higher, because obviously I think like people like Jeff Bezos don't need all those billions of dollars really. And I know it's not all liquid assets and stuff like that, but I just think in general, when companies pay zero taxes, like Amazon's paid like no tax, no effective tax rate for the last like 4 to 6 years. That's ridiculous to me. I think there needs to be some base level, no matter what good you're doing with like your incentive programs. There still should be some base level of income that gets taxed or profit that gets taxed to help provide for the safety nets. Like I think we can all agree on.
This is at the heart of what I have a problem with just the philosophy of a lot of like conservative right-leaning people, which is the idea that the government is the only form of power that you should be worried about. It's just to me, and this is kind of personal, the idea of a boss or even a family member, someone who has some biological or economic power over can be extremely damaging. People, especially women, have had their lives ruined by the things that their bosses and coworkers have physically done to them. But because of economic structures and powers that come with healthcare, psychological care, dental care, the power and the choices that they had to make were just completely like unfair. Like when we have a law, we're not saying that that's just something you can't do, but that in reality, if you do it, there is a possibility, a limited possibility for legal consequences. I think was it 60% of murder are cold cases. I think something like that, right? So in reality, like when someone kills someone, it's not you're going to go to jail. It's more of there's a 40% chance, depending on how well you did it, that you will go to jail for murder if you kill someone. And that's the way that laws actually translate into the real world. And the exact same thing can be said about businesses, where if you do X action, if you're late to work, if you don't accept this overtime, if you don't talk to your boss in enough way, you will lose healthcare. There is a chance that you will lose healthcare. There is a chance that you will lose dental care. There's a chance that you might not be able to find another job. And so both of these power structures, from an authoritarian sense and a laissez-faire capitalist sense, are both dangerous to me. And so I want to use both of these structures to cancel out, right? That's why I try to aim for worker co-ops, because worker co-ops are going to be at their basis decided by the people who work there, and the government doesn't need to step in because now what will happen is workers will have an active say in their business. You don't need to enforce like a more minimum wage if every worker gets a vote on who is in charge, right? That will immediately create a more equitable system, right? So to me, I'm not trying to fight for a more authoritarian system because the government can mess up just like the Democrats in power now, that people need to hold accountable for failing to do something just consistent with this moratorium. I
True,
think
true.
that you need to make sure that both whatever capitalist powers and authoritarian government powers needs to be in check and needs to be waved through. And to your point about Jeff Bezos, I just want to say, like, yeah, I agree. But my biggest reason is that Jeff Bezos's wealth comes from government infrastructure, comes from government like buildings. Like the people at Amazon who apply for any sort of government benefit, any road that Amazon uses, any product that comes from materials that the American government was able to negotiate for with other countries. Like the American government did a lot of shit for Jeff Bezos that Jeff Bezos just doesn't admit to. And that's the
Well, he
reason
took
why I
advantage of the opportunities provided. Basically, is what happened, right? Because in the 70s and 80s, he was working out of his garage, right, and he was able to build this crazy empire. Obviously, taking advantage of, like you said, the roads and things like that. But yeah,
well, yeah. The government didn't give it to Jeff Bezos directly. Sorry if that's
no, I know, but I'm
I
just
could
trying
get
to
how what I
qualify.
mean
Yeah, I'm
by
just trying to qualify your statement here. But
that.
everybody,
Yeah.
but see, the thing is, that's the whole point of like common and public spaces. Like everybody gets to benefit those, so everybody pays in. That's why I'm saying companies like that. It's ridiculous to me that they pay zero taxes. Like, I think that's just absurd to me, right? And I think that that's like, uh, I'm completely against this whole corporate welfare. Like that we do have obviously like some left or some right leaning people and conservatives will like try to like sweep that under the rug or deny that. No, I'm like 100% against that. Like if you can't run a business with like reasonable level of income and paying taxes, like I don't think you should be running a business. Like you shouldn't have to take all this money off the government. Like I think that's bad. But what I will say from your previous point though is I kind of lost my thought, but you were saying about the Gosh dang it, I forgot. You go ahead and keep going. And I'll think if I think of it again.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, that authoritarian power from the government and from businesses are both bad, and this ties all the way back to what I said about class consciousness. Especially with the national strike that's going on like October 15th, which if you hasn't heard, try to participate. Where it's just
Oh,
people need to
there's like a
realize
general strike
that
being planned, like a general labor strike or
yeah,
something.
yeah, on October 15th.
Interesting.
I just think people need to realize that like everything about this system is a choice, right? Your boss having that much power over you, your politicians having that much power over you is a choice. And if you feel like they have too much power or that they are taking advantage of you, as in you deserve like healthcare or you deserve enough to be able to afford healthcare, and I think that is something that we have to actively fight for. And I think that like just like with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, where we saw that we were like, hey, businesses, like you can't actually discriminate on the basis of people's skin color, or hey, you can't actually discriminate because someone's a woman. Because we understand that at the end of the day, some choices are just harmful to the stability and longevity of this country. And I think we need to take that account for both our government and our businesses. I think that, it's terrifying that we have to balance authoritarianism on one end with authoritarianism on the other. But, it's why I don't identify as like a part of the authoritarian left because I don't want to expand government power. I want to limit all forms of power, which include big business.
Okay. So I kind of want to wrap this up a little bit with just a few more questions maybe, and we can go for a little while longer. Then I'm gonna hopefully open it up and bring some more people, and you're welcome to stay as well. And I know we have some good chats in here with all the other people. But so I want to ask you, like, if it was up to you, like, what would be like the main goals of like the federal government, and like what do you think like their role should be, like both like we talked about like economically obviously today, but like just in general, like the economic, like what should there be things for economic, what there should there be their goals for like you know the people and like how they should interact with the people. It's like what is your general um ideal, like what the ideal government roles should be in people's everyday lives?
I think that AOC kind of hit it perfectly with the Green New Deal. I think that one huge thing in economics, one huge thing in society is the idea of dangerous externalities. When it comes to pollution, when it comes to CO2, when it comes to toxins, viruses, and any poisonous substance, especially with COVID-19 and stuff like that, it's really hard for individuals to gauge how bad their decisions are. Give an example. It was the decision of a couple of 10 people of why COVID-19 got into the United States as early as it did. If 10 people made more reasonable decisions, we could have had a week less of COVID and therefore a week more to try to gather a vaccine. And that's just kind of like one of the examples, and climate change is a huge one. So that's one of the main elements of government, which is to basically undo or look at these externalities to make sure that society just doesn't collapse, to make sure that whatever virus or pollutant or climate change aspect that we're creating, that it doesn't get out of hand with reasonable government regulation. I think the second part of the Green New Deal, which focused on workers' rights and just living standards to make sure that now that we're in this system, people are able to be guaranteed a certain amount of safety nets, especially when it
Green
comes to
New Deal,
things
yeah.
like education and work. The ability for people to have good and strong infrastructure to make sure that they can live their lives efficiently. I think like if you take the amount of energy people lose with improper windows or improper roofing, just the hundreds of dollars that go down the drain every single year in this like country is absolutely terrifying. And finally, I think about like equality, just the ability to make sure that we're recognizing that this country does have a pretty like just terrifying past, and that we need to engage in policies today that just make sure that these inequalities don't stay a stain on our future. Now, obviously, these are just the themes of the Green New Deal. This isn't actually like the individual policies, but I think the themes just really hit it off the top.
Yes. So yeah. So I agree that. Uh, sorry, you're distracting me. I didn't know that he had rights to get in here. My closed panel, but that's okay. Um, I lost track of thought again. Damn it. No, but I do agree with what you're saying somewhat. I do want to push back against the Green New Deal. Like, obviously, I do think like the climate issue is something we do need to be concerned about. But like, I think a lot of the stuff in their policy was kind of like a pipe dream, and obviously that's kind of what it was supposed to be. But I do think that there is a lot more growing we need to do, both like technologically as well as like resource management wise, when it comes to like the planet, because we have a lot of issues with like other countries. So it's hard to tell these other developing countries that they can't develop in a way that they feel fit, just because it's going to be because we did it first, so now we get to tell everybody what they can do. I do think we should help these countries, and obviously, a lot of countries have problems with other different types of like power sources. Like, I know a lot of countries are very anti-nuclear. It's actually banned in a lot of countries. I think Australia has it's illegal in Australia. I think, and some other places they've been shutting down their nuclear power plants. And then you have places like Japan, who's had issues with like building nuclear power plants on like fault lines and things like that. So I think that's something we can do to help these countries, but I don't think we can dictate how they can have their own industrial revolutions. I think that's kind of like another even more egregious overstep. Not only are we having the government telling the people here what they can do, but then to say all these other countries have to do it this way or the highway type of thing. But I will say, as far as that goes with the Green New Deal, I thought there was some good things in there, but majority of it was either bad or just kind of cringy. And I know some of it got taken out because they like had bad press releases or whatever with some of the things that they said about like people like unable or unwilling to work. I think that's a bad precedent to set. Like, obviously, I want people to be productive, and I think that's something that humans strive for in general. Is like you see a lot of people, especially. I mean, one of the most egregious things we see is the death rate after retirement just skyrockets, because once people retire, they basically have not nearly as much of a structure in their lives, and they kind of just deteriorate like extremely fast. So I think that it does have
Oh
something to do
yeah.
with you know people's like innate need to like feel productive. And I think that we're kind of doing things in society. I mean, it started about back when I was a kid, even they were doing like all the participation trophy type things, and all this like giving money away for nothing. Especially now with like obviously COVID's is an extreme example, but if you look, we ballooned our debt in this country. We basically knocked it up another 50% of what it was. It was at about 20 trillion. Now it's up to like almost 30 trillion. So I mean, we have to kind of rein this in eventually. But I do like what you had to say today, and I really appreciate you coming on. Um, I'm not going to agree with everything you said, obviously, and I don't think you're going to agree with everything I said. But I thought it was a very good conversation. I really enjoy having these more back and forth, more cordial conversations. I'm not really like a debate bro. I do panels and stuff occasionally, but yeah. But I really want to appreciate your time today. And if there's any final word you want to get in, I'm going to open up the panel here in a minute to like some other people that are, our friends that we talk to all the time and whatnot. And but yeah, go ahead, and if you have anything you want to say, any last words, any last gotchas against me, if you want to, dunk on me, feel free. But I'm going to give you the last word.
No, well, two things. I want to say that this was like great. I really want to have like more conversation with this, the people who I just normally don't like agree with, because usually what we would do like now in a more real world sense, especially if you were policymakers, is try to break down like what our differences and values are and try to see if there was something we agree with. I remember doing like model, like General Assembly model Congress, things like that. And I think that this is something super important for just people, especially political people like you and me, to just be involved with and say, these are policies I support, these are policies that I do not. And I think that that would create like a lot more efficient change, especially on the state level. If you're out there, if you're watching, please vote in your state elections. But what I will say, the second thing was in the chat, someone said, I'm a huge fan of green energy, but saying people don't realize how bad their decisions are is personally a terrifying statement to me. And yeah, it is really terrifying, but it is just really true. I think climate change, I think COVID-19 is just a really great example of that. Like, if you just really track a lot of these Southern people who are like, ah, no, I don't think COVID-19 is that dangerous. And then you take the number of people who died in these southern states through comorbidities. I don't think these people are terrible. Like I just fundamentally don't think that these people who are like, I'm not getting the COVID-19 vaccine, I don't think they're bad. I just think that their information about the virus, the dangers of a pandemic, and the dangers of letting something spread, is just not like usually adequate enough. I think that a lot of people just don't really like understand how intense or how bad their decisions are for other people. If you think about fast fashion, if you think about the way that the United States interacts with like other countries and how like even just veganism, when you take like the idea of people don't even want to like people couldn't even cut a dog, but let alone they'll eat like a McMuffin or a McMeal, which includes
Yeah.
fertilizing chickens. Like it just seems crazy to me that like people believe that they have a really good idea of how their actions impact the world, and it's just not true at all. We just don't.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that take and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna go hop up into the just the regular chat that we normally use. So if you want to follow me up there, you're more than welcome to. And then
Right.
I'm gonna mute myself though, so like anybody's gonna say anything, and I'll let you guys know before we go back live again with everything. But I just want to thank you so much for having this conversation with me and taking the time today, and hopefully we can have some more interesting conversations and in the future. I'm down to talk about pretty much anything. I really like these more one-on-one kind of back and forth, kind of like picking your brain type of conversations, I guess. Because it's interesting to see like what people's views really are and how we can move forward together with these policies and taking these ideals and making them into reality. But again, thank you so much.
All right.
You
So
don't
I'm
do
going to.
you don't stream or do anything, right? Do you have anything
Yeah,
to shout out or
no.
anything?
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna hop
No.
off for 1 second. I'm gonna go up to the other chat. I'm gonna mute everything, and then I will be back in a few minutes. So stay tuned if you want to keep chatting.
I'm gonna.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people wanting to talk to you after listening to this. So I think that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to stay, obviously, but I'd like you to stay. But that's up to you. So
Yeah, I gotta go. Well, may I'll stay for like 5 minutes in case anyone comes to like ask me a question, but then I gotta go work out.
all right,
So
that's all good. I
mm.
appreciate it again, and I'm gonna hop out of this channel and go up to the other channel and mute everything and be back. So thank you again,
All
and
right.
I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, so I want to thank you guys for hanging out for that conversation. I thought that was really awesome. If any of you guys want to hop in and chat in the American Octagon Discord, I'm gonna be chilling here, and I'll be back. I'm gonna go use the restroom, grab something to eat real quick, and I'll be right back. So see you guys in a few.
So to emphasize that social aspect of a labor or of your work, that seems like a really interesting idea for sure.
This is more important, okay, Among Us.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, Among Us is pretty important.
All right, come into you're in Pillbody's server, right?
Yeah, but I'm busy talking to these guys.
Okay, well they can come play Among Us too.
Wait, you're playing Among Us?
Yeah.
How do I get the link for the Discord?
I can
No.
get someone else to send it to you. But wait,
Let me
Biggs,
let me see if I'm not a mod. Dang it! Why am I not a mod? I freaking told him I'm not.
Biggs, I know you're in Peabody's Discord.
Yeah.
And TheGaytheist is in there, absolutely.
What about
I
it?
mean,
Let's go
Are you
play Among
playing-
Us in there.
Should I stream still though?
No.
No. Yeah, that's the problem. I just don't want to stream for a little bit and have some chatting.
okay.
Well, all right. We'll all be in Peabody server. If you guys want to come along, feel free to.
Thank you for inviting.
I think I have Among Us because it was like free. Yeah, I do. I have it.
Yeah.
It was
But guys,
free.
seriously, please come because we want players.
I will
So,
come. Hey, well, how about this? Hop in there and see if we can do. Well, I don't know. Does streaming with that game mess things up?
I don't think so.
Not as long as people don't watch it.
Don't like stream snipe. Yeah.
No one's gonna
Yeah.
stream snipe.
No. But hey, that's more views, right? Yeah.
All right, I'll be in there.
Will you see? Will you hop in there and ask him and say, hey, you know, Biggs is streaming. He wants to play, but doesn't. Okay, never mind. Fucking A.
Yeah.
I hate when this happens. Like people just start getting together and playing games. Like when I'm literally in the middle of something.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think if like work being a place where we spend 8 hours a day, be awesome if it was more social and in a non-exploitative way, in a way that's not like, hey, we're your family, never quit even though we underpaid. You know.
That's why you guys all got to be based like me and work in a nonprofit.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, even like a non-profit, they may not
Oh
pay
yeah,
as much as you're worth.
nonprofits are super based.
They
I
are.
love nonprofits are super based.
Well, okay, so caveats, right? The owner or creator or founder of the nonprofit can pay themselves whatever the fuck they want as elected by the board, right? So
Yeah, usually.
specifically, there's a nonprofit near me, and my parents were really involved in. I looked into the 501c3, and the guy was making like $130,000 a year.
So did you
like
also
40
look at
hour
like
work
what the
weeks.
other competitive rates for other whatever level? I'm guessing C-level
Founders.
people in that area make for nonprofits because that's usually what it's based on. They do like usually boards do like determinations on what the area like will the average or whatever, and they'll base it on that. So
Yeah, it wasn't C-level. I mean, I guess founder, whatever the hell he's doing, maybe it is C-level, right? But that's fair.
is he like the
Right.
chairman or like I mean he's got it.
He is the founder. I think on a 501c3 it said that he worked 40 hours a week. So whatever the hell that means. I don't know. They don't go into many specifics with 501c3.
Well, like for me, I'm salary, but I still work 40 hours a week. But like obviously it fluctuates because when it's busy, like right now is audit time, so it's a little busier. But
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know. For the sake of the 501c3, I don't know why they'd underreport their hours. So maybe.
well, I'm just saying if he's just like a salary, that's like the base for salaries, 40 hours a week.
Yeah, my guess is it's salary. That's probably what it is. But it's a bad look whenever like a founder of like a really nice charitable organization.
You think
is getting paid more.
130,000 is bad? I don't think that's egregious at all.
You
Yeah,
don't?
I was like,
No.
I mean, so like if it's a
It-
completely charitable organization living off of people's donations, right? And it's meant to help people, right? I think
Right.
there's a problem with that. Like, if you want to say like this person's heart is in the right place, they don't need $130,000 a year to like have like it's a homeless like thing. So
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean-
charity for homeless people.
well,
you know?
yeah, well, but it's like president. Like if you're the president of the United States, like all your money comes from literal forced taxes. But like
Sure.
no one's really concerned because you're the freaking president. If something goes wrong, every person is liable to blame you. Like literally everything you do is held accountable to like reflect on the country. Just like if you're the founder of a little charity, like everything you do reflects on the business. So like
Yeah.
even though like that person may seem like they're not doing a lot more work, like I at least hope they could live their life comfortably if you're really going to be running like the whole show. Like that seems like 130,000. I was thinking more like something
Millions.
over 1 million.
Yeah, me too.
Like excess.
I understand.
But
That's fair. But go ahead. I do want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think workers should just be paid more. But I don't like. I don't think 130,000. Like there are doctors that are making more than that. Like
Yeah,
yeah, like
so
there's like
for-
nurses. So like yeah.
yeah, I don't think I remember the name of the charity, so I can't look into the 501(c)(3) right now. But as far as I'm aware, like the people that are like working under him were getting paid like bare bones. Like the people that are working under him, like
I know it sounded
definitely could not
Hey,
live off of that.
guys.
What?
I know
What?
it sounded like a suggestion earlier, but it was actually a demand. So
Okay, I'm coming. I'm
Okay. I'll see you guys in there. That's fine. If we're in a good conversation with Among Us, that's fine.
Hold on, I just want to look up this real quick.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the median of a nonprofit CEO is $174,000.
Yeah, that's absurd. I I understand that if we're looking at like compensation, how where somebody's heart is at, then we
You also
probably
have to
should look at the
remember,
median.
though. You also let me say this real quick caveat. You
Sure.
also have to remember that those C-level positions have to be competitive with nonprofit level people as well, right? Because those people, those same people that are the C-levels, are being pulled from not only the nonprofit sector but the for-profit sector. They have to have at least some type of competitive compensation packages.
Well, so the guy that's the founder, it's completely charitable for him. It's not like they hired him to be like the head of the charity. It's like he founded it. He was like a doctor or
I
some
guess
shit
I
like
don't really
that.
know what his actual job function is. So maybe if he's just like some
Neither do
figurehead that
I.
does nothing, then
That's
yeah,
what I'm
maybe I
saying.
would have a problem with it. But I'm guessing he
Sure.
probably has at least maybe he does like outreach or maybe he does like bringing on a lot of the money because I know like we have a development team that literally their whole job is to bring in money. So like you also have to factor in if that's his job and let's say he's getting paid $130,000 a year, but it's bringing in millions of dollars for this I mean, obviously, then that makes it a little less egregious, right?
It does for sure. I don't know. I'd have to look back into it to like explicitly say why it rubbed me the wrong way. A big part of it, I think, was the wages that he was paying the people that were working like on the ground, you know. But I'll try to figure it out. Maybe
Do
I
you
can send
think
it
I
to you
should
whenever
stream
I
this? Or you think I should end my stream before I do this?
some of those guys are kind of yucks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. All right, I will
See you
do
over
that then. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll do it for a little bit.
there.
Nobody watches
I-
my stream anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna get in that much trouble, I suppose.
nice. See you over there.
All right, peace.
Fuck, fuck.
everyone.
What
Wow.
does sim smell mean?
Oh my god, 9 people? No way.
Hey, everybody, just so you know, I am streaming. Are you guys okay with that? If you really are not, if you're being serious, I will stop streaming, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up for okay. Cool. You guys are you also have to bear with me. I'm very boomer. So I'm not versed. I've never actually played Among Us. So you guys will have to bear with me, okay? Is there a code?
LMC.
Yep.
KJF.
Should I leave and change my name, or do you think?
So just whoever has microphone, like, reported the body.
You start.
Wait, who's who?
Wait, do we have
we're waiting
everybody?
for Biggs.
Who's
What are you
who?
doing?
Wait, no, we have.
Somebody
have
leave.
9.
Somebody leave. Oh.
What?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm so
Okay.
scared. If you kill me, I'm literally gonna cry.
Okay, everyone shut up
Yeah.
when it's not meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Imposter.
How do I play? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you look on your map, like
Who made the
top
fucking
right.
viewing distance that small?
Yeah. So you look at the top right. You see the little map. You
Yeah,
click on
that's
that, and you see
retarded.
all like the little exclamation marks. You go to those, and it's like a test. So you click on it, or just press spacebar on it, and just like figure out what it has you to do. So if it's like a button, like press it. And then there's two people in the map that are trying to kill everybody else, and you have to try to figure out who they are before they win the game.
That's so vision.
I can't see anything. You need to fix that. Dumb.
How do I bring up the map?
Top right by the cogwheel.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Awkward.
So, I'll say, oh shit. Okay, I found light pink up top in cafeteria because the doors closed. Was there, and so I figured there'd be a body in there.
Orange,
while
what's
they
wrong
tried
with
to
your mic?
distract everyone with the reactor. So that's where I found the body. Anyone see anything weird?
I was with Lean Pig.
So
I was on the right side, near the
I saw.
yeah.
The last thing I saw of Pink was they were headed, I think, like near communications up through oxygen and navigation. So I think that's how they ended up in the cafeteria. So I don't know who would have ran through there, but that's the last time I saw Pink.
So I was doing my what's it called? My my what is the thing? The hexagon squares. Blue was there, I'm pretty sure, and then cyan was there. So I think I can clear us for that because we were locked outside of cafeteria. And yeah, that's all the
I
information.
think it's
have.
Dylan.
I can't clear anyone because
It's
I was
Dylan.
pretty much by myself the whole time.
How do I?
It's Dylan.
I saw someone. I saw someone in
Vote
electrical. So
Mr.
he's at
Kami.
least.
I was in electrical, yeah.
Yeah.
Vote Mr. Kami.
I am
Sorry.
very.
We're allowed to skip
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Well, why would
we
you
have
do that?
time. We have time.
because this
I'm
is a
kinda
free round. It's not-
suspicious.
Okay, well, it's not necessarily a free round because we have two
we don't
imposters.
have any information,
There's 2
and
people dead, and we're gonna
we
leave.
don't have any information.
We could just.
And when people say that, I think it's them when they're like,
Wait,
oh,
no. If I was the imposter, I would be wanting to kill innocent people right now, right? So it's in the best interest as me, if I'm the imposter, to not skip rounds and to throw people
Okay,
out.
but has anyone
Okay.
vouched for Dylan?
No, that's why I think it's Dylan. And because I saw him.
I don't know. I can clear 3 people, including.
I saw
we were all
Dylan
together.
with Sully.
Yeah, I
So-
was with Sully, and well, he's dead now. Correct.
Exactly.
So that's kind of a coincidence because me, Teal,
And I can clear
Blue.
the brown guy. I don't know who that is.
So that only leads one person.
That's
Whoever
pretty
does
racist.
TBA.
How?
Clearing the brown guy.
I
He's
think,
brown.
I think Dylan's a good bet.
It's Dylan.
Are you sure we need to? I mean, we
You
can
remember what
We
happened
can't
last
skip.
time you
We
said
can't
that,
skip.
Carnage?
We-
Which
what do
one's
we gotta
Dylan?
skip or
So,
vote
Mr.
Dylan?
So,
Kami.
Clock Guy, like, if we don't skip, here's what's likely to happen.
Okay,
Next
I'll
time we
vote
get
for
in
him. I'll vote for him.
Next time we get in a meeting, two more people are going to be dead.
Atheist vote.
It's going
Yeah.
to be 5 people,
Okay,
2 of them being
Yeah,
imposters.
I got you. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know who Dylan was. I'm gonna be honest. Dylan, were you a murderer, or does it just say ejected?
You can't tell.
Yeah, he can't say.
Yeah, you
Oh my
can't tell.
God.
Dead man
I
speak.
hate
No
that.
doubt.
I'm sorry. It's fine. We're dead. I just feel like we're dead. I'm sorry.
Well, you killed me, and I gave
Hey,
Carnage.
Mike's.
I gave Carnage the warning. I literally said to him, "Remember what happened last time you threw Dylan out?"
Mike's.
And of course, Carnage didn't listen, even though he threw me out.
That's right. I'm following the person who killed me.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm watching. I'm on you.
Like- Well.
Damn.
Let's go.
Once
Well,
again, I
Nice
called
job,
it.
Tiger. I got a
Once
couple.
again-
You got a couple. That was solid.
No, it's Dylan. It's because you never say.
Everyone hit play again. Everyone hit
I
play.
literally told you. I literally told you, Carnage, what happened last
But you
time.
like didn't care that we were
Everyone play
accusing you.
again. Everyone play again.
Yeah, everyone's just accusing you, and you're like, ah, whatever.
And you're like, well,
I thought it was Tiger and Ella.
who
I
the
didn't
fuck? Can you
expect-
guys say like your name? Cause like, who's Lean Pig? Who's
That's me.
Loki?
just-
Clock
I
guy.
How do I
literally-
change my name?
Yeah,
You have
can
to
we
leave
leave
and
and
then-
rename ourselves?
Who's Many Bat?
That's me, and I don't know why. It's Biggs.
Yeah, can you guys like
Oh.
change your name to
Yeah,
Discord
Then
if
name?
you go
who's
to-
Loki Cug?
That's me.
Okay, I'm gonna leave and
Who's
then
me? Like, say your name.
change my
I'm
name.
Loki Code.
But
That
who?
would help.
Who is Loki Cug?
Clock guy.
Oh, hi Clock Guy.
Yeah.
Tiger, I knew it was you, and I said it, and then you
Oh,
went on
I
a whole
feel like
rampage.
We have 8
Mm,
people. I feel like 2 imposters is a little too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have no reason to suspect it was me.
Let's
Can
turn
you
the
change-
viewing distance up a little
I
bit.
voted
Can
for
you
Tiger.
change
because
the
I
settings?
thought his
Can you
rigmarole
make it
was
so that we
kinda
can
sus.
see?
Yeah,
like,
Tiger has retard settings.
Put
No, I
crewmate
have good
vision.
settings.
Put crewmate vision to like 1.25.
Yeah, a little more.
No, make
How
it,
do you
yeah.
know if you're the bad guy?
It'll
have a
just-
red-
It will
it'll
say
know.
at the beginning.
Yeah, it'll be like all big.
Do
Make
it
sure to
way-
let
red
us know if
letters.
you like
It's supposed to be like
if your name is
crewmate
red
vision
though. That means you're
1.5
the
No,
and
no, they
imposter
changed it.
vision 3.
They
What's the
changed it
code
to where,
again? I
like-
need the code.
Text
LMC.
lounge. Look at text
No,
lounge.
I'll just say it. LMC.
Jesus.
Yep.
KJF.
KJ Appa.
True.
Okay, and begin.
I don't want to see a whole room.
Make the crewmate vision more. That's so useless.
You're not supposed to see a whole room. Alright, I'll do it next
Oh
round.
my god.
I'll do it next round. We'll try it out for next round.
Okay.
Don't
One
speak.
imposter.
I feel bad for the imposter.
I'm not supposed to
1v9.
see you.
The imposter is sucks.
Alright, yeah. Why is my name red?
Scary.
Okay, where?
So I found Sully dead in navigation.
Oh,
The reason I wasn't going to the reactor is because like there's like 8 other people, so I figured like someone else would get it, and I had all my tasks centered on the right side of the map.
okay.
And
I have sauce.
I
have
just
sauce.
passed Dylan.
I have sauce. I left Biggs in navigation.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I have to say something.
I don't even know who
I
I
was-
saw anywhere. To
During
be
this
honest.
kill, during this kill, I saw 2 people in navigation, and then as soon as I get off the table, bodies reported. So this is why it makes me think that it's a self-report.
it's not a self-report.
I think it's Biggs.
It
I'm
might
assuming-
be.
I'm
Big,
assuming
Biggs
you were
was
at
in
the
electrical like
camera.
the entire time.
Was he? Because
I'm trying to just complete the task because I
Yeah,
don't know what
he
I'm doing.
was for, like, a
I'm
long
trying to
time.
figure out the game.
Maybe I'm the wrong person.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
in electrical for a while.
Guys, my strategy is not.
That's
when I play
metagame.
this game as imposter. My
Meta,
strategy
meta,
is
meta,
to
meta,
try.
meta,
have
meta.
actual evidence.
Yeah, I have evidence. I was on the table. I saw two
Skip it.
people.
I
No,
just skipped it.
No, I definitely think this is a self-report, and the accomplice
Yeah,
is.
So you said
probably
you saw
good.
2 people in navigation.
Yes,
Do you know what
and then
2
the sec.
people?
No, I saw two people on the board, on admin board, and as soon as
On
I get off,
on
yes.
admin? Well, then yes, of
Yes.
course there'd be 2
Yeah,
people
There's
there
two
because
people,
there's
and then
obviously going to be 2 people there, Tiger Pill, because there's going to be the
Yeah.
person that died and the person
no,
that
the
killed
person
them.
that died doesn't show up. The person that died does not show up.
Because it's after you killed them.
Yes, and as soon as you killed them, there was only one person. So
Maybe they vented out of it. I'm just saying. What can I say?
Wait, so was this
Unless
right? Was this
You
right
can't
before the
say
report?
anything.
The only person that I trust is Clock.
Was this right before the report?
Yeah. So like, I was on admin table, 2 people, and then report 1 person.
How do we know Tiger isn't just
Ooh.
lying?
Hey, how do we know? Tiger was like on the other side of the reactor.
No, yeah, I did reactor, then I tracked back, checked medbay, no bodies, checked cafeteria, no bodies. Was like, let me go check admin, no bodies, but I checked the board.
So let me get this straight. You went
the
all the way
reason-
from reactor to cafeteria to medbay to cafeteria to admin in the span
Yes.
of like
Right.
5
Yes.
seconds.
No, actually, it was like 15 seconds.
It was a little bit more, but the reason
Can you
why
Because I know I found the
Because
body like
it's
no
taking so long.
less
Okay.
no more than 10
Everyone's
seconds
already
after
scared.
reactor ended.
Everyone's already
How
scared.
about this? We can suss on Soren and maybe Tiger because he
No.
hasn't been cleared yet.
it's just I don't know. I feel like
I'm
I
willing
was
to
there
skip.
with
I'm more than
Tiger.
happy of skipping.
Okay,
but I
I'm down
just-
for skipping. Oh wow.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Guys, it's
Someone
not
keep
me.
an eye. I'm traveling with
I
a
skipped.
partner.
I skipped.
So don't be scared if I'm following you.
Is Gaytheist
So-
traveling with me?
Wait, no one was ejected. Who was tied?
Yeah, no one gets ejected on time.
Comes.
Oh.
Why can't I do the thing that it tells me to do?
Hey,
You go
can
up
go
to it and you
reactor?
put your thing on it
Hey, someone can do
like
okay.
that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so lost in
If you're doing the task I think you're doing, you have to hold on the spaceship. Okay.
I get it now better. Damn it.
Oxygen.
I'm so close.
Card swipe on 1 go. Let's fucking go.
Comms.
Oh wait a minute.
Okay. What happened now?
Where was it? Before anything starts. Because I cleared
Okay,
people.
so Soren's really sus.
I'm assuming I don't know
Hold on.
how they did this, but there was one in
Another self-report. Awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone shut up. I want to hear Karen talk because I want to hear what it is. That way I can clear somebody.
I know this looks weird, but if I knew it was weird, why would I do it?
Alright,
I think his
Oh, for Soren.
Right there, one was
so-
in upper engine, the other one was in Biggs. You're dead. You can't talk. The
I
other
know.
one was in the
You
hallway.
need to fix
in
your
between
mic though from
security.
being all robot-y.
I can. Oh, I can.
Is it
vouch-
bad?
Oh my god. I
It
can
was,
vouch for
but-
Clock Guy. I can vouch for Clock Guy. I was just with him and we were. So I'm the vouch for Clock Guy.
Yeah, I didn't see Alexa for too long, but
So
Yeah.
what you're telling me is it's Alexa and Clockeye.
It's only one
Yeah,
imposter.
the two
Only
imposters.
Typing in the chat.
We have to vote. We have to vote. So
I'm sus. I'm sus of Carnage.
See, okay,
and
when has Tiger ever been this ambitious to vote someone? Like, isn't he always the guy that's like,
No,
we
you
should
have
wait,
to
we
vote.
can skip, guys?
Oh
And
my
on the
God.
first round, he
No,
was like,
you
let's
have
vote
to
Soren
realize
immediately. Let's vote Soren.
It's 6. We have
Wait,
to
It's
vote.
wait,
either
no, wait,
Okay,
so,
wait,
so we
guys.
skip, we skip,
Guys.
and then the imposter kills 2 people,
I
and we
have
still
a
get a
plan.
go.
Exactly.
I'm a
we
No,
have
but like
to
if he
vote.
kills 2 people, we can still call
Tiger.
it.
Hear
No,
my
we
plan.
can't. If they kill 2 people, then we're screwed. We have to
Guys,
vote. It's
guys,
not me.
let's
It is
skip?
100%.
Are we
my
skipping
plan.
or are we
No,
voting?
I only have-
it's 100% pink. It is 100% pink. It is 100,000% pink. Trust me.
Pink?
Guys,
Yes,
what if
pink.
we
Pink.
stuck with partners, right? So me with Pink, Tiger with Ella.
We have to vote though.
Oh, where'd you come from?
What are
Oh,
we
where'd you
doing?
It's 6.
Oh,
We're
I-
voting for pink. It is 100% pink.
Why is it pink?
Oh wait,
Yeah, why
I
is
thought
it
it was
pink?
the
Okay, so the reason
self-report.
the reason why it's pink,
Mm.
right? I'm more sure of
Yeah,
I'm
you're
more sure of
just vote
I'm
Tiger
more
out.
sure
I
of
won't
pink
hear him talk anymore.
than gray. The reason why is because one, as soon as I said, "Hey guys, look, we have to vote," immediately try to throw me out because I tried to vote out gray. Immediately tries to throw me out because that's
Well, you
imposter
just vote
buddy.
Tiger out. That
Where'd
way
you find the
is-
body, Soren?
he shuts
I think
up.
Yeah,
Tiger
I think I found Pink in upper engine, and then the door was closed to engine, so I think it happened recently. So I wanted to see like maybe they vented somewhere, and I traveled down to the hallway in security, and there was Big's dead body.
Okay, so and also Pink's pathing is being very weird. As soon as I go into electrical, you immediately start to go to fake a task. Oh my god, you're
Shit.
splitting it.
Oh,
You're splitting it. We're gonna lose.
Jesus
Like I don't know how many times I have to
There's-
tell
I
you.
swear it's Tiger.
Tiger,
There's
stop.
he's
There's
never
only
been
one-
this
This
ambitious.
is
Tiger.
metagaming. This is literally
Tiger,
metagaming. Saying
Tiger,
that somebody did
there's
something.
only
No, we're in,
one killer. There's only one killer.
Tiger's whole world been strong.
You get to fly around as a ghost. That's fun.
It is fun.
I have one more task.
How late is the convenience store open?
Midnight.
I hope so.
all right. Gaytheist, don't say anything by the way.
Okay, I know this looks bad. I found him in admin. Gatheus was on the camera. I was just with Gatheus. Gatheus, did you see the body on the camera?
Fuck.
Wait, where was the camera? I mean, where's the body?
And near admin, like right by the door. That's why I think I might have
Oh,
saw it on camera.
okay, that's easy. Hold on, this is easy. So I just passed Clock Eye, and when I saw Clock Eye, guess who was not far behind him?
Who?
Who?
All right, we vote Tiger. If it's not
No,
Tiger,
no,
I
no,
emergency
wait,
meeting
don't
and
vote,
put
do not
Alexa.
vote, do not vote. I'm cleared. I was with Gaytheus the whole time that the reactor or whatever was called. Gaytheus.
Gatheus, is that true?
I was with you in CCV.
I
that's
saw
why-
you for like a couple.
No, I was
wouldn't
staying
say
with
so
you
that
the whole time. It's impossible for it to be me. This in my pathing wouldn't.
Oh, where have
not,
you been?
right? So it is
Where
no.
have you been?
I'm talking. It is 100% pink, like I said before, and yeah. So
I don't.
unless
okay,
unless pink is throwing the game and actually being
Why are
the
y'all
third
voting so fast? I didn't even get to say what I saw on cams. So what
What'd
I
you see on
saw
cams?
was if Lucky Block is Clock Eye, I saw Clock Eye and Ella go into navigation together. And then I didn't see anybody, so I don't think it's
Yeah.
Ella. Because if Ella would have killed, it would have been at that time.
Exactly.
And they both walked out.
Exactly.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's Pink.
I
I
think
didn't.
it's pink because Pink lied about me being right behind
Well,
whoever died.
No,
Clock.
let
I was
Gatheus
getting
talk.
I-
Let
the whole
Gatheus
time.
talk. Shut up.
When I was on cams, Pink was an admin, and Pink was standing right next to the door, closed, and Pink literally just stood there, like she literally didn't go
I didn't know what to do.
anywhere.
I was
So
like,
if
I was looking for a murder.
Yeah,
Riddle
like-
me this. Why would Pink lie about me being right with Clockeye when I haven't even touched
Please
Clockeye
just
the
go,
whole
Tiger.
round?
Let's
It's
just get this
not
over with.
me.
This fucking
It is Pink.
monologue.
It is Pink.
I was sore to reporting every.
It is
Okay,
definitely.
Also, I am
I-
so sore for reporting
I
your body.
think this is so hard.
It's Pink.
It's
Just
so
vote Tiger.
Tiger.
You lose the game
But
if you
it's
vote
so hard to tell.
Just
It is-
vote,
it-
please.
Alright,
my
I
God.
voted for
Vote.
Pink. Gaytheist vote for
Vote.
Pink.
Oh my god, you're
Okay.
trolling me.
Thank
Like,
you.
we literally are losing the game right now. There's like
Thank
3
you.
imposters.
If it's not him,
basically.
then we don't have to hear him talk anymore. So it's a win.
Oh my god, bro. This is
Okay.
hilarious. Oh, look at that. Wow, who looks dumb now?
Oh, this looks bad for me. Don't roll my ass, by the way. There we go.
Alright.
Okay.
I helped fix the thing, by the way.
I didn't think this would go this well. Like I thought they would have definitely killed someone by now.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? Okay,
This is
where
so
have you been?
funny.
I rarely ever see you.
What?
I barely have seen you. Like, I've seen you.
I was running to
Ella
reactor.
already
and then I
got
went
cleared
on
by
cams.
Gaytheist.
I was
Ella.
running to the reactor, but you
I
three
know.
were already there.
I saw you then, but like through the majority of the game, I've barely seen you ever.
I went to the right first.
Ella's
I have
already
one more
got cleared
task.
by Gaytheist.
I feel
There's
like
part
then
of
it
me-
has
hold
to
on,
be Pink.
There's part. Okay, so I know it's not Gaytheist. It's Gaytheist sitting on cameras. So part of me reports everybody, which is sus to me.
Oh my god, it's so fucking Alexa.
Okay, wait.
If-
Okay,
I-
Ella.
Everyone knows
Wait a minute.
that someone who reports the
think
body
it's
3
Alexa.
times in a row is sus. So why would I do that to myself?
Okay, Ella. It's just me and you. It's just me and
Oh,
you.
Alexa.
Because we're the only 2 people that are really clear here, right? It's either Pink
Yeah.
or it's Gray. So let's
Funny.
think about this, right? Who are we voting for, right? Because Gray is clearly gonna vote for Pink. It's clearly
Well,
gonna
I don't
Gray.
know. I don't.
Alexa, you fucking bastard. I knew it. I voted for
I was sus of Gray like since the beginning because of the self-reports, but I don't think it would do it that much, you know. I don't know.
I feel like someone. Hold on. If I'm being honest, I feel like someone's playing us, but there's no point, so I'm fucked either way on this one.
Okay, so who are you voting for?
I don't know.
like listening to how Alexa started celebrating last round because it was basically almost impossible for us to get this
I
meeting
think
in
it
here.
might be Alexa.
I just want Tiger.
I'm
I
gonna
just
vote
want Tiger to
for
shut up.
Soren.
I just want Tiger to shut up. That's all. I
Oh,
want.
what the fuck?
You know what? Honestly, I
Guys.
think Ella's. I think it's Ella. I think
It's
Ella's
fucking
literally
Alexa.
playing.
What?
Okay,
I think
Steve,
Ella's playing us.
hold it together. Hold it together. Hold it
I think
together.
Ella's
Let's just
playing
all
us.
stay together.
No, God.
Why can't? Why?
Oh God, get the fuck away! Get away from
Let's
me!
stay together.
Oh,
No, no, Carnage, no, away!
Are we gonna?
Everybody's just gonna stay in the raid room.
Are we gonna stay together or what? Oh.
I'm staying away from y'all. Not fixing your own, am I? Oh my God! Please don't hurt me!
What the hell was that?
Don't hurt me!
Alright, guys.
Wow! No one is dead.
It's okay. It's either Alexis or I think it's. I swear it's Alexis.
Okay.
It's Alexa.
I think it's
Whatever,
definitely-
Alexa.
It's definitely not Alexa because I was literally just right there at Oxygen with Black right, but like he definitely could have killed me. She definitely could have killed me.
Oh my god, it's not me. Which one of you guys is playing us?
Bruh, it has to be.
This is
It's
so
not,
funny.
It's not Gaytheist, it's Gaytheist.
This is
Gaytheist
so
could-
hilarious.
I don't think it's Gaytheist. I think it's one of you
It's
two.
not. It's not Gaytheist. Okay, hold on. There's not Gaytheist. I know that for 100%. It's Ella or Carnage. Carnage reported
What?
everybody.
I don't
hold
even
on.
know. I
Let
don't even know
me
if it's
talk.
elected anymore.
Let me please talk. I just want to say this, okay? I'll give my line of reasoning. Carnage has literally reported every single
This
bug.
is so funny.
And I've seen Ella very, very little. Those are my two.
What
things.
does that even mean? Because you
Okay,
haven't seen me.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me finish. I'm gonna vote Carnage because he's reported everybody.
Gaytheist.
No,
said-
vote Ella. Vote Ella. I think. Fuck, guys,
Oh,
not
what?
me.
Just vote. Just vote. It
It makes so much
matter.
sense. It's
We're
Ella.
going to
Matter.
lose.
The game isn't fun if we just keep dragging it out. Just go for it. And if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win.
All right, I don't know who it
Oh
is,
my
but it's not me.
Who?
Why is it Ella? Has
Why?
Ella been?
Who was double
No
crossed?
way.
It's fucking
Oh
Ella.
my
You are
God.
fucking genius.
It's literally.
You're
Just
a
run!
genius.
Just run! Run!
Um,
Oh my god, you're a genius.
Oh my god.
It's over. We
Mike.
lost.
Alexa.
Good job, Ella. Ella, GG, Ella. You did good.
Really?
Yeah, it's over. GG, Ella. Can't fix this. Since we fix it, we're dead.
I knew it at the end. I was like, it makes so
Carnage,
much
no,
sense.
I mean,
Guys, did I
Alexa,
slay?
why would you lie? Why would you lie
I
about
want you
me?
to shut up.
Did I
Why?
slay?
That's not good, bro. You're just gonna throw the game. Like, why would you do that? That makes
Oh
no
my
sense.
god! How did Soren keep finding all the
Clock.
bugs?
Clock. Alexa really just said, guess who's right behind Clock?
I just want you to be quiet. That's all I want.
No, freaking Gaytheist. You said that
You're
like
actually-
Ella and I both went out of admin. I never went out of admin. She killed me there.
Just
Yeah, the
actually
biggest
lying.
problem. The biggest
Second
problem is
imposter.
Gaytheist like vouched for
Second-
Ella, so I never suspected her.
Yeah, he
Oh,
imposter.
or
I
you guys
never
are just
left
bad at
admin.
the game.
Second
Yeah, I
imposter.
am. I'm pretty okay.
There's
Well,
really
next
two
time
imposters.
I go into the computer, I will be super focused on like just one or two people instead of just
So
glancing
fun,
at
so
different-
fun.
Cams. Easy. Also, GG,
Actually-
Ella, that was good.
I think I did pretty good. Nobody
you did good,
suspected me
GG.
the whole
No,
game.
Ella, you
That
did
was like-
fucking great.
Start.
Someone press start.
We're
What is
waiting.
taking y'all so long?
Man,
We're
this
waiting.
is the second game today in which Ella's completely walloped Carnage.
We're waiting.
Yeah, I know. I feel like an idiot. God.
Why?
There's
Okay,
9
come
people.
on.
Who's
Start
the
the
leader?
game. What are y'all doing?
Wait. You said there's 9 people. Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess we are missing one. Huh?
Yeah, no, I'm
We're missing Sully.
Okay.
Oh, just start then. We don't need Sully.
We're missing Dylan.
Yeah, we're missing Dylan.
Don't
Alright.
need Ella to start
I'm
it.
gonna start in 10 seconds.
Look,
Dylan, join.
8,
Dylan's going to the store.
7.
Just start.
You guys play a game without me. I'll be back by the
We
time.
will.
Yeah.
Dylan's going to the.
Alright, Mike's mute.
Okay.
Can't wait to be imposter. I'm gonna kill
Mike.
Carnage. Da-da-da-da.
All right, I'll be back in a bit. See you guys in a bit.
Aww. Ella, did you see that?
You were following me.
I know
I
you.
saw
trust
Ella and Tiger
you
running
talking.
by me, and then the
Yeah.
person died. So I don't
Because I
know.
was
Now,
scared
James,
because
I'm
Tiger
gonna
was trying
vouch
to
for someone.
eat me.
Hold on,
No,
I'm gonna
no, you're
vouch
not. I have microphone.
Where
I'm gonna-
was
I'm,
the body?
I'm talking. I have
I didn't even.
microphone. I have microphone. Thank you. So, I was dancing with Ella because I trust Black, and I knew that Black was like gonna call a meeting. I guess I was like, all right, yeah, Black's pretty cleared because why would imposter call a meeting and not just kill? And
When did
Biggs
imposter
Biggs
call
ran
meeting?
up, and I think Biggs may have
I
killed.
think it's
and it-
Biggs because
yeah.
every time I saw Biggs, he wasn't doing anything. Like he was
Wait,
standing
can I
at a
vouch for
wall.
someone now?
Like you weren't doing any
So
tasks.
I'll be honest with you. I was suspect of Tiger, and then I saw Ella and Tiger running around together. So I don't think it was either of them because I was in the I don't know what section I was in was the like the bottom right. So I don't think that it was Ella or Tiger, but I don't know where the body was actually found. So
Okay, that's
But-
fair.
I think it's
Body.
Biggs.
No, I don't
think
think it's Biggs. I don't think it's Biggs.
Who
So,
was
Where
on
was the
cam-
body?
Who was on
The
camera?
body-
Who was
the
on
body
camera
was
the whole
literally right outside of the camera's field of view, like directly underneath it. So it had to be somebody that's on like the left side of the map now, maybe in like
time? Wait, where
electrical
was the
now.
body?
Wait,
It's
it
like
was
was on
right
the
in front of
bottom left.
where?
an admin. It's an admin right underneath the camera, like where the upload thing is.
Wasn't there someone on camera like the whole time?
Yeah, it was outside the field of view though.
Who was on camera?
I have
It
no
was
clue.
me, but I kind of.
So I think this was a drive-by, and whoever the imposter is, they're on the left side of the map. Me and Ella are
One.
cleared. Me and
Yeah.
Ella
Then
are
I guess
cleared.
Biggs is cleared too. Then if it's on the left side.
I was on left
The
side.
main
not-
thing that
I
I
was
saw on
Gaytheist, but he
camera
was on the
was
camera, and then
Tiger
was on the camera for a
and
bit.
Ella traveling together.
I was not on the left side. I don't know why.
I'm
someone
saying
said
that the body, whoever the imposter
Yes.
is, they are on the left side now because we were
Why
the
would-
only ones on the right side of the map.
Why would
Okay,
they
can
do
they
Alexa,
I
know
was
I'm
on the
where are
left
you?
side, and I saw
Alexa?
the Gaytheist, but he was on the
Alexa?
camera through the entire thing.
Please.
Alexa, where were
Okay.
you?
Go ahead, Alexa.
Thank fucking God. Number one, I'm vouching for Carnage. Okay? I was alone with him. He's safe for now. I'm vouching for this round. Number
Where's
two,
Carnage?
I was refueling the engine. I was on the completely other side of the map. Gaytheist saw me running back and forth because I was fueling the engine. See you on camera.
Okay, so that
I think
means
it's Carnage.
that it's either Carnage or Slick
It's
or
Carnage.
Gaytheist.
How is it me? Like I don't get it. Where's the
I'm
evidence?
skipping.
It's Carnage.
I
Okay.
have a
You
list
just said you
of
weren't on the left
suspects.
side, and then Alexis just said you were
Yo,
on the
who's
left side.
Carnage?
No,
Don't
I was in the
forget,
cafeteria.
This is me and Cam,
Alexis
so that I
Alexis
don't
just
get
said, so
killed,
you're fucking
y'all.
lying then. It's literally
Don't forget
Carnage.
this
Is
is
the
me, so I
cafeteria?
don't
The
die.
It's
cafeteria
literally
is
Carnage.
It's definitely Carnage.
I don't
It's
understand.
No,
Why
I
did
went
it
to
skip?
electrical in the beginning, but I
Why
consider
did you
that
guys
Mike,
center.
skip?
If
It's Carnage.
majority of
That
people
was
skip,
dumb.
everybody
That was
skips.
a retard
Guys,
mode.
electrical is
Mike,
fucking
Mike,
center.
mute. If you want to talk, call a meeting.
Alexis just said
If
she
you're
was with
giving away
Carnage.
information, call a meeting if you want to talk. Ooh, who was it?
Wait, what?
Carnage.
It was Carnage, but he left. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally rage quit because nobody listens to me, but I said it was Carnage.
I voted for
My
Carnage.
internet
That-
fucking died out.
it was the only person that wasn't cleared. It was literally the only person that was not
Dude,
cleared.
Alexa literally just cleared me at the end there.
No, but it doesn't matter because it wasn't a good clear.
Yeah,
Ella,
Alexa,
come
you just
back.
fucked me.
It
Yeah, so
wasn't
I
a
need
good
the-
clear.
Saying
Alright,
you clear
everyone hit
somebody
play
is not
again.
evidence to clear somebody.
We're gonna play again.
1, 2.
This is pretty fun, even though I don't know how to play, but it's still fun.
All right.
Waiting for
Okay,
Hey,
so if I
hey,
do get to be the bad guy, like, is it just click on the person and you kill him, or how does it work?
you have a kill button and you can also use vents.
Yeah.
How quick is it? Like,
It's like instant, but you have to be
Okay.
pretty close. And
Okay.
also like
Begin.
Sorry, Clock Guy. I'm really like particular about the places I kill people, and admin's one of those rooms where I'm okay with it.
No, that's alright.
And I had to stay in. I couldn't get out. I had to go through a vent, and because the
So-
cameras were everywhere, so I had to stay in the vent the whole round.
Damn.
You're an imposter. God damn it.
Okay, who's the imposter?
Me.
Mike.
I'm the imposter.
You're the imposter.
Mhm. every fucking time. Oh my god.
Green was just standing right next to him. Green was just standing right next to him. Green was just standing right next
I
to
don't
him.
even know.
Green was
I was
standing-
doing the thing. I wasn't even. I was doing whatever
Why
the
were you
task
standing right
was.
next to
I
him?
don't. Honestly, I was doing the little like lever task, and I'm still trying to find out all the tasks. 'Cause I haven't
Wait,
done them
you
all.
said were you right next to the body? Did you not have to click report?
I did not click
No, he
report.
was just standing there. He was just standing there.
Oh, okay. So whenever like you see a body, you're supposed to click report because that like starts a meeting up and it lets people like identify like whether somebody's died or not.
I
Okay,
didn't
so
see anybody actually
me-
die. I was in the middle of one of the little mini
Okay,
games.
so I don't think it's Biggs, and it's definitely not me. And
Who else was in there? Who was the one that
Wait,
called?
wait.
Who
just
reported
said
the
it's not
body?
me?
Solid.
Yeah, why do you
it's not.
why do you
it's
say it's
not-
not you?
Okay,
It's not me and Gray because we were with each other literally.
I was
the
an
whole entire
admin
time.
trying to swipe a
Is-
card.
Kind of true.
Where was the body found?
Okay, listen. So Sully, it was me, Sully, Gray, and Green, all together on the right side of the map. We split up eventually. He went to go do like his wires, and then me. Okay, so I followed Gray to do his wires, and then his connector, and then his asteroids, and then we went up to the top of cafeteria.
Who's
and the
talking
bodies
right
were-
now? By the way,
Tiger is. So I.
It's Tiger.
think that this is wait. It can't
it's
be
Tiger.
me because
Nope, it's Tiger.
It can't be. Wait.
I don't
what?
know.
You have no
I don't even
why
know
can't it-
anything about
No,
Why
this.
I
can't it
think
be
it's,
you?
I think it's Biggs.
It's
I think
not
it's
me.
Biggs.
I was literally.
No, you can't do that. You have no information. I'm cleared. I was with somebody the whole game. It's impossible for me. to
Okay,
do
if somebody saw you, then it wasn't you.
Can,
But
can everybody vouch for him being with him the whole game?
I don't know. I didn't. The only people I saw
He
in the
was with me
beginning
for
was.
most of the
No,
game.
Tiger did suss me out. Tiger did suss me out.
Yes, because you're not listening. Because you're the only other person there that wasn't cleared. You were the only other
Nah,
person.
I'm
I
terrible at
saw.
this game, and I think it was
You
Tiger, but
left.
that's just
You
me.
left.
It
You
was
left.
not
Straight to
me.
navigation. You
I
stood in
don't-
there for 3 seconds, then you ran out when you saw us
Pressure.
sitting at the camera.
Peer
Oh my
pressure.
god, yeah, I did run out. because
Seems
I
like
saw
the
you
most
there.
Wait.
likely. Tiger seems like the second most likely.
Wait,
Bro,
who's the most
how
likely?
can it
Biggs?
be me if I
Biggs,
was
you said?
with Gray the whole game, bro?
I don't know.
Because
Tiger's,
you
like,
weren't
taking
really
pretty
with me
big
the
control.
whole
Like,
game,
Biggs doesn't
you
know
were
what he's
kinda-
doing.
Because his
You're
body
kinda
was
just
Who
right
was
there.
with me and
His
Sismo?
body
Was
was
it
within 8 seconds? No, less than
In
8
where?
seconds.
On the right
His
side?
body
Tiger,
on the right
you were-
side?
you
So
were with me.
Yeah, I
you
was
were
with you. It was me
Tiger,
and
Okay.
His body
you
was
and
still
Alexa.
falling.
okay?
Tiger,
His
you were
body-
with me at the end.
No, I was with you
Okay.
for
Alexa
the
is
duration
Sismo.
of
So
this match.
honestly, okay. So it was me and Clock Guy and Sismo, and I
You
was kind of
just
like going
admitted
back
it
and
was
forth.
him.
I think it was Clock Guy actually. Now that I wish I could change my answer,
Wait,
but
why?
because I don't know, because it was I don't remember who was with me, but I knew it was
Biggs is
Sismo.
muddying the waters.
I did see Alexa in there,
Yeah.
but like I left and she was still on the
It's
electrical.
Okay,
literally
so-
not- how many people voted for? Oh my god, you have to be trolling, bro. Like,
Guys, it's
not
Biggs.
me.
I didn't
All
vote.
right, throw me out.
I-
Throw me out.
Okay.
All right, watch this
Makes-
stub right
it
here.
just
Watch this
makes
stub.
it
Is
easier
Biggs
to
the-
identify
Is
the
Biggs the
people.
next
Look at
us?
Look at this.
I'm not. I don't even know how to play
Yeah.
this
I think
game.
it's
me,
Biggs.
right?
I feel like
It's
it's
me.
Biggs. He would have
Wait,
called
wait,
out a
wait, wait,
body.
wait,
Look, think about it. He would have called out a body. And it was right next to him.
Honestly, I didn't
How-
even see the body. To be fair,
Comms.
Dude, he's lying. He's feigning this boomer
Emergency
shit.
meeting.
He's feigning.
Emergency meeting if you want to talk. Stop giving away information.
My ghost was not avenged.
Yeah, great.
You know,
Oh, shit.
I'm not taking this boomer shtick. You know what I mean? You would
all
call
right.
out a
Well, I
body.
mean,
would
you can
call
go
out a
ahead
body.
and boot me, but I'm honestly I'm a little
I
more
don't
sus of
know.
Clock Guy right now personally, but he's my boy, so I don't know if I shouldn't
Yeah.
be sus on him. But
That's fair. I mean, I saw Alexa. I don't know who was the last person to see her.
Yeah.
but I
Let's
saw
vote
her.
for
But, like,
Biggs.
I'll
Alright,
okay.
I'll tell
I
you
don't
what.
know. Biggs
I'll tell you what,
is-
guys. I'll stick with Clock Guy. We'll do a skip. I'll stick with Clock Guy the entire round. If you
That's
kill someone, I'll
metagaming,
report.
isn't it?
No, it's
But,
not.
It's whatever. That's fine.
Who wants to?
Let's do it.
Who wants to
I'm
be
voting
with
for
me
Clock
in
Guy.
camp? Who wants to be with me in camps?
I don't. Who wants to be
Well,
what?
Alright. Voting for Biggs.
All right.
Are we voting for Biggs or not?
Yeah,
We're
and this
both
seems
sus.
solid.
Do we
I
need
feel
to
like
vote?
Norman.
I got
Man, now my chat's got me.
This
I don't
game's gonna be
know.
over.
Now
soon.
chat's got me wondering. My chat's saying that purple is sus, but I don't even
Guys,
know. I haven't really paid
oh,
attention to
oh,
that
you
at
mean
all.
that?
Sully hasn't been
You
cleared
can't
at
look
all,
at
but
chat.
I don't. I mean, what?
That's
I
cheating.
mean, I was
Your
sort of
chat
cleared
isn't
with Biggs towards like the
cheating.
beginning.
That's
but, like, I don't know.
cheating.
It's
Stop
just
saying
fun. It's
Come on,
interacting with my
Biggs.
chat is all.
Come on, Biggs. That's
Okay.
cheating.
All right. Well, I'll tell you guys. You guys will be
Bro,
very
why
sad
are
when
you
you
taking
boot
so
me. All
long?
right.
Okay, if it's not Biggs, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Clock Guy.
I don't know, man. Why are you cleared?
Am I cleared? Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah.
Now I'm booted.
Carnage, why did you rage quit when I accused you and I was
I
right?
didn't. My internet pooped out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Carnage.
We can talk about it later, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah, Clock Guy, you gonna murder Gaytheist? Bastard.
I'll let you know the murderer is computer.
I'm gonna haunt you for the rest of your life, Clock Guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, what do we do with that? Come on, Biggs, you can't. Biggs, you're not supposed to say.
I didn't
that.
say anything. Nobody got killed.
I think
I was just
Clock
letting
Guy.
you know that I was following you. Is all.
The murderer is computer Carnage. He murdered me in electrical.
I wish. Anyway.
It was Colonel
Okay,
Mustard
so
with the candlestick
we
in the
narrowed
library.
it down a considerable amount. I know it's not me, but
It's
I.
computer Carnage.
Wait,
Shut
that
up,
wasn't
you're
the
dead.
wait, Atheist, you can't just say it's.
Yeah,
Atheist,
that
you can't
can't
just say
speak.
it's not you.
Dad
Like,
can't speak.
why is it not you, Atheist?
What? No, I
I
said
am so
I
bad
know
at this
it's not
game.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
awful.
but like, we can't use that information.
Well, I'm trying to think out loud.
Like, I know
don't-
it's not
I
me
just-
too, but like,
Clock Guy, why are you eating up?
I'm not. Like, anybody have anything to say? Somebody
Oh
called
my
an emergency
God.
meeting.
I've had hours discussions with you on philosophy. I know when you're bullshitting. My
What
God,
do you mean? I never
Clock Guy.
bullshit on philosophy. What the
This
fuck?
random
guy.
skill that just came out of computer.
Bullshit.
Okay,
This is
so
so funny.
let's think about
Okay,
this
so
logically,
so just so
right?
let's just be
Great.
really really careful here. Computer's very obviously trying to get me kicked out. So take that for what you will. But go ahead.
because
Casey.
you're the imposter.
I think it's
okay,
Clock Guy. It's 100%
let's
Clock
think
Guy.
about this though, right? Because I just the original murder. Because I was on cams and
Purple
I
is
just
awfully
remember
quiet. I don't
a
even know
lot
who
of
he is in the
people
chat, to
being
be honest
near,
with you, so.
Simi smell, and it just I don't remember Soren being like anywhere near that crowd like at all. So I think
Clock Guy.
Okay, so
it's either Sully or Clock Eye. Now, Sully was definitely there. I saw Purple. Like, I know Purple was there. I don't know what Clock Eye was doing.
I saw Alexa
Sully.
earlier on in the round, but I didn't see her after
Sully,
we
who
got
did
past
you
the
vote
center.
for?
I voted for Lock Guy. He's giving me
Do
the
you?
fuck
I mean, okay. I think.
So
my
hard to be
decision is
just
right.
quiet.
I'm
I think
voting
it's
for
probably
Clock Eye.
Purple.
Well,
Oh,
good play, guys. I
murderer
mean, I
is
guess
Clock
enjoy
Guy.
losing the round. That's fine.
Oh, bullshit. You know it.
Vote for
Trevor
someone,
Soul.
Clock Guy.
Yeah, I voted. That's fine. That's fine. Enjoy losing. That's cool.
It's Clock Guy.
We're
Yeah,
all
okay.
going to lose. We know this, and it's okay. We always lose.
Good game. Oh man.
Okay, you kill me
Okay.
first every time.
Knew it.
Every
I knew it.
Oh, see, you guys all
Let's
voted
vote
me
the same.
off. I
Yeah,
see.
new
See,
game, new game, new
my
game.
boomer shit.
Wait,
And I was
don't
being
start
honest.
yet. I got kicked out. Don't start
Yeah.
yet.
I'll invite you back, Ella.
How did
What?
I do that?
Biggs randomly just said it's Tiger. It's
What's
Tiger
the
because
code?
it's
Shut
Tiger.
up. You talk so much. What's the code?
Oh my god.
Okay, for that oh, it's
It's in text lounge.
it's I C
No, it's not. Oh my God, you're such a
U
dick.
P.
I pee freely.
Go to text lounge because he's gonna lie. But
Yeah,
did you see that big brain move I pulled
Ella,
out here?
Ella,
I was like
Ella,
computer.
it's
I
L
remember the original
M
murder.
Guys.
C K J F L M C K J F.
Got it.
This is
guys.
Oh my
awesome.
god, we have
Could
8
we
people.
take a second to appreciate how Biggs completely outed me to everybody?
What? I just said I was. No, I didn't. You
You're
didn't
gonna
even
haunt me
do
for the
anything. I
rest
didn't even
of
know
my
it was really
life.
you. I just wanted to haunt you.
Man.
I honestly didn't even know you killed me. I literally was in the middle of doing a damn fucking thing.
Clock Eye,
That's
Clock
all.
Eye.
No,
Biggs didn't know you were the
New game.
murderer.
It's a
Yeah,
new
he
game.
didn't
It's a
know
new
you were the
game.
murderer.
It's a new
Oh,
game.
Even
okay,
if
okay.
he got ejected, he wouldn't have had that
Man,
information.
I was like pretty much admitting guilt
It's
at
a
that
new
point.
game, by the way. It's a new game. By the way.
I just know when my boy's acting kind of sus. Oh man, asteroids is in this game? Holy shit, that's amazing.
Can't talk while the game's going.
Well, this isn't anything to do with like the actual game.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Just like talking about random shit.
Typically, no.
Yeah, I feel like people would just like scream and then like it'd be outed.
Oh my god! No!
Instantly.
Oh my god! Okay.
It's
okay,
green.
Wait a
Or-
second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Whoever
was
has
up.
microphone, let them talk.
Wait a second. I was on cams.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Okay.
Navigation. Who's on cams?
Okay, I was on cams. Frick. Okay, I know it's not Soren. I know it's not Soren. Okay.
Who did you
someone
last see?
went
Think,
in.
atheist. Think. Who did you last see? Who did you last see leave? Who did you
It's
last see leave
big.
navigation?
Okay.
Biggs.
I know it
I
wasn't
was I was doing
Or was it Tiger?
the weapons, the asteroid game with
Tiger
the
was
weapons.
with-
Where'd
me,
you go?
not
Where'd you go after the asteroids game?
I literally went back to like the main cafeteria area, and then that's when it did the.
I see Biggs
But I was in the main
Guys,
cafeteria.
it wasn't Biggs. It wasn't Biggs. It wasn't Soren. Oh my god, who went in there? I literally.
Well, clock
saw
is being
it.
kind
I
of
think
sus
if it
already.
wasn't
No,
Biggs,
no,
it was
Biggs, I was just-
Alexa,
I was just trying-
Alexa-
You were just trying to out me because I outed you last game.
Alexa,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
were you?
I
Yeah,
think it was
where were you?
Alexa. I think it was
I
Alexa.
think it was Alexa too
Oh,
because I saw
please,
her on that
let me
side.
speak.
Okay,
So
Alexa, defend
I,
yourself.
because all I remember is seeing a
Ugh.
dark colored thing. That's how I
Okay, so like Ella's black, by the way.
so
That's
the only other
racist.
dark colors are
That's
brown, which is
racist.
me, green, which is Biggs, and I
Let
didn't.
me say
and
what
Soren.
it was.
Pink is
Then
not
say
black.
it
Oh,
then.
God.
You're waiting.
Go ahead.
I was in the engine. I was on the other side
No,
of
you
the
weren't.
map. Jesus.
Wait,
No,
Ella,
you
why
weren't,
do you
'cause
know that
walked by
Alexa
me and you went to
wasn't?
the right.
Just know
Yeah.
from now on, if I
Alexa,
get this
do you
wrong,
have a
I am no
report?
longer doing
It's
cams
Alexa.
for the
Alexa, do you have a
I'm pretty
report?
sure it's
Someone
Alexa
else
or
please
Ella.
take cams if I
Okay,
get
yeah.
that
So if
wrong.
it's not Alexa, it's Ella. Easy.
What?
So Alexa now, and then Ella next.
I mean, it's not
That's what
me.
I think
but-
it's Ella or
Well,
Alexa.
yeah.
Guys,
Well,
but-
if
I
Ella's
voted
lying, then it's
Alexa.
Ella.
Actually, I'm good at the game and I won last time, so it wouldn't be this like stupid. But
Okay, so if
I'm
it's
awful
not
at this
Ella,
game,
just
obviously.
know I'm quitting.
don't
cams.
vote me. What the heck? Vote
No,
Alexa. I didn't-
it's Alexa then
Nobody
Ella.
sussed me out. Alexa was lying.
No,
about
we're
where she
sussing you.
was.
Like if Alexa's innocent, then you're a liar. So
How?
Okay,
Because-
guys.
I
Okay,
said
so
Alexa
it's
to go to the
probably
right
Ella.
side. Alexa wasn't.
We have to at least keep playing till I get to be the bad guy. Okay, I want to be the bad
Alexa's
guy.
a liar or Ella's a liar.
Oh,
So
let-
I
Tiger,
voted for
vote.
Alexa.
Tiger, what are you doing?
Hold on.
Oh,
So,
sorry, I was on my phone because everybody's screaming and being a little.
Vote
You
Alexa.
dumb
Vote
whore.
Alexa.
I'm
Guys, vote.
skipping. I
I just want to say things, please.
I
for
think
love
we
of
need to
God.
skip. Oh my god.
You guys are
Why
both for voting me.
are you
Of
guys
course, you
like
think we need to
this?
skip
Can we not
Tiger. You weren't listening.
skip?
Well,
Because we know that
Gee.
either Ella's lying or Alexa's lying. So there you go.
Hell
see,
yeah.
I told you guys. I'm so good at
Yeah,
this
fuck you,
fucking game.
Alexa.
I'm so
Yeah,
good.
Alexa.
Oh, that was good. I
I'm
called it.
so
I called it first. I was the first one to vote
Alexa.
for Alexa too.
Damn, it's so
Yeah,
sad,
Alexa. Alexa, take it from me because we both got outed by the same person.
Please, shut
Don't lie about where
Well,
you.
shut up! Shut
Can
up!
we-
Damn,
can we, like,
this
let
is a-
people talk, please?
This is so bad.
Can we let people talk, please? Can we let people
What
talk?
are we so Among Us?
Hey, what's worse, Among Us or a Prime panel? I don't know. Yet to be determined.
I would like people to be able
Why
to talk.
am I so good at this game? That's the
Why
question.
are we
Because
not
you're
letting people
fucking
talk?
baller.
Whoever
Okay,
reported the
you're
body, let
right.
them talk for at least 30 seconds, please and thank you.
Oh, Bob.
If I'm being accused, let me speak.
Wait,
Well, you were
Wait.
sus, so we're not.
Wait,
playing.
no,
Yeah,
we
no.
did. We did.
Alexa,
We did.
No,
I
let
did.
people
I was
listen.
in the engine. Everyone started talking. I was like, all right, well, I can't talk.
No,
No,
You
Alexa,
guys all
said-
play like Werewolf and those other games like in person too?
Yeah, Alexa, you said you were in engine, and then you said you were on the left side the entire time, and then Ella said I saw you go
Oh,
right.
What are we
I'm like,
waiting on?
Yeah,
Are you
and then it was,
back?
like, really quiet for like
Oh,
10
Bob.
seconds.
Bob,
is
do you
Dylan
wanna
back?
join, Bob?
Well,
Yo,
send
Bob.
me the link. Send me the link.
It is L
Alexa,
C
Alexa.
K J F. That is L M C K K G F. L M C K J.
Okay.
Wait, can you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, it's L M C K J F. It's not that hard.
Can
Just
you,
love
can
my
you do it? Can you do it ASMR style now?
Sure. The passcode is L
Lick my cantaloupe
K
knuckle.
J F.
Just fun.
Awesome.
That's my
Alright,
acronym
you
or
know,
whatever.
ear licking was not necessary, but
No, it's ASMR style. You know?
Yeah, you don't like the ASMR?
Yo, Bob,
no,
why'd you
you
talk
guys
about
ever go on?
profile
You guys ever look up ASMR on Twitch? It is literally all ear licking.
The star.
Yeah.
It's like
Ew.
softcore porn.
Okay,
They even have the
just-
fucking
just
like
so you guys know, I'm
skulls.
not doing cams anymore because I'm literally terrible at cams. I thought it was
Yeah.
Glass. I thought it was Ella. Like I literally,
How?
I
Not
literally
that
don't know.
stupid.
I saw two people enter,
Alright,
and
I
then
need to
Soren
talk.
entered
We're
an
gonna
empty room.
Bob, are you having what troubles are you having?
It says something about quick chat mode or something.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you
go to
can.
your, wait. No, like we don't need 5 people talking. Go to your main menu, then go to settings.
No, you're retarded. You have to sign
Yeah,
in
go to
first.
account. Make an account. Why you keep giving bad advice?
Yeah,
Well,
you're
I'm
not doing it right,
I'm
Tiger.
assuming,
Shut up.
I'm assuming people already have an account.
Well, you assumed wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
that's wrong. Like, why are you giving bad advice?
Yeah, bro.
You should work on that.
Alright,
Okay.
if I'm imposter, I'm just gonna like be the most honest imposter ever without being too honest to lose.
No,
Yeah. I killed him.
I'm a bad
Don't
liar.
completely talk over them, okay? There is no more speaking in this, alright? No more. If you're being accused of fuck you.
Can we fix the speed, please?
Yeah. I'd rather not look like I just smoked crack.
Oh my god.
You should have been mercy. You should have been any kind of support. You should have been helping.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we
Oh.
so slow? Give me super speed, thank you.
Now it feels like we're so slow now.
Why are we not starting?
Because we're
We're
waiting.
waiting for Bob.
Bob, hurry
Bob.
up.
Yay!
Goofy wide.
Hello, Goose Ike. I'm Lock Psych.
How do I change my name?
Just start. Just
I
start.
had the same
Alright.
thing.
Use goose like.
Red's already sus. You're too bright. Chill the fuck out.
I'm never
Chill out, Red.
sus. I've never played on my phone.
2 imposters.
No, why are there two? No.
Here we go.
We always do 2 imposter with 9 or 10.
Who's we?
Yeah, who's we?
Damn.
Okay. What the fuck?
Oh, Bob, you can't talk. And like, you can't do that either.
I know who did it. I saw
Admin,
it.
admin,
I
admin,
saw
admin,
it
admin,
on
admin,
cam.
admin,
I
admin,
saw it on
admin,
cam.
admin.
Is it
Who has
Sully?
mic? Who has mic?
Admin,
Please,
admin,
microphone.
admin.
Bob has
Bye
mic.
bye.
Oh
Bye
my
bye.
god.
Wait, it was red. It was red because I saw a body in there. It has to be red. It has to be red.
It's Sully. Why would you
No,
sus
it
me?
has to be red. It has to
Can
be
we
red. It
like
has to be
keep
fucking
calm
red. It has to be
here?
red
Like this
because
is
I
actually
just saw him. He self-reported. Red self-reported. I was
It's
right
Sully.
Sully
I
and
didn't even
Gabe.
see her,
Red,
Sully. I
red,
didn't have
red,
the
red,
red,
range.
Sully and Gate, yeah.
Sully, you
Saw the
just
murder.
sussed
It was
yourself
Gabe.
out, you
I watched
retard.
it.
Wait,
I
what?
watched the murder. It's
So
Gabe.
where was the
Sully.
body at?
It's red. It's admin, 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 admin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
but
definitely
how do you-
Sully.
It's not me.
Okay, I got
It's self-reported. He's self-reported. I swear to
What the
fucking
fuck?
God.
Why would you do
Where
that?
was
to
okay?
yourself?
Where was the body at?
It was
Because
an
I
admin.
know.
I saw
Next
it
to
on
Admin's on the right side of the
I
thing.
saw it on cameras.
No.
Hello. It's on cameras. I saw it.
What's
Go get it.
Sully's name? Here, Sully
Indeed.
Phil.
When did you see it? Because I know you can't
I
see
don't
cams with
know
the lights
Sherlock
out.
Holmes. When
No,
the
he couldn't
murder-
see me. My range wasn't even big
Like I
enough
was
to
literally
see
on
him.
cams like the past 4 days, so cams don't work with the lights out. So when
If
did
I'm
you...
not, when I go out and I'm not it, you vote red. It's he did it.
It's Gabe.
No,
No,
it's
it's
Sully.
metagaming.
Shut up, Sully.
Oh my
Cams
god.
literally don't work
saw
with the
a
lights
murder.
out. What are you saying?
Alexa, shut up.
Where was the
Ella,
body?
what do you
No,
think?
you said it was an admin.
What?
Admin.
And where's
It was
admin in
next
the
to admin.
in the
I really
on the
Fucking
ship?
under the cab.
Everyone literally heard you screaming when the lights were out. Cams don't work with that.
I saw this on cameras.
I was
watched it.
literally on cams for the past
Why
like
is this a
5
debate?
games.
Just
I am
poke
telling you.
atheist out.
Where are the cameras? I want to try the cameras. Where are they at? You it's like you can
Where's
see
that
cameras on the
I-
thing.
They're near the
So if
reactor.
you go
Holy
past
fucking
medbay
shit.
and then you go down past the engine, it's based on the other side of the reactor. But yeah, I also think it was a self-report. By the way, I'm just putting that.
Well, you're fucking
I voted for
retarded.
red
That's
too,
not
but I think so.
Well,
But I don't know.
actually,
Just
no,
because of
I'll
what
put
everybody
my
else
answer.
said, based
Well,
on.
It's not me.
I watched it.
Just
Okay, I'm voting
vote,
for
Tiger.
Atheist.
Tiger
watched
is
it.
Oh,
literally.
it's red. It's red. It's red.
Why would you do that
This
in
is
round
the-
one,
this-
Sully? It's
this is
fucking
the-
not me, you
on the
retard. I
side
couldn't
of
even
a
see you
minute.
because
You
my
are
range
generally-
wasn't big enough. You could see me
you're
because of the fucking
physically
imposter
retarded.
range.
It's red.
Shut
I'm
up.
losing.
Tiger is literally just sitting there like, do I
Okay.
believe Red? Do I believe the
I'm just
game?
putting
Do
my,
I
I'm
believe
putting my
Alexa?
switch
Do I
down. There's
believe
no point.
Just
Sully?
fucking vote.
Do something. If I'm the freaking murder, just
All
vote
right,
me.
we're
I don't
obviously
care. Just
skipping.
vote. You're
You're
taking
gonna get
We're
forever.
away with it.
obviously skipping. We're
You're
obviously.
fucking retarded.
This
I
is
mean, but
insane.
okay.
Oh my god.
How would you fall for Sully in round
don't
1, you
need to
retard?
vote.
I don't think it's Bob. Okay.
It's not
Bruh.
me.
I think
Okay.
it's
So
Gaytheist and
cringe.
Sully.
Actually, so
Yeah.
It's not me. It's gotta be
Thanks.
the Gaytheist. It's gotta be the
Everyone-
Alright,
I
Gaytheist.
think
Devin,
it's
stop
I
talking.
think it's Gaytheist.
Stop
and
talking. Stop talking. Stop talking.
Sorry.
Exhale was not necessary.
The hell did I
Kill me.
miss?
Cafeteria, just kill me.
Shut up.
Stop talking.
Shut up, like.
Where?
Yeah, where's the body at?
Nobody else talk, please. I have the microphone. Thank you. Love you. Okay, so the lights are off, obviously. See Ella on control panel. I don't go on control panel because I don't want to die like an idiot. So I leave. I go to
This is so funny.
storage, and then I see Gray come from the right side of the map. So I'm like, all right, let me go check for a body. And then I go back to check on Ella, and Ella's dead. I have no information on who I think it is. I'm giving you the factual statement.
Wait, but
Where was it
aren't
at?
you just a
So,
little
I
bit
came up from
incriminating
admin.
Gray? Like what?
No, Gray is on the
Yeah.
right side of the map. This kill is an electric. It's impossible.
Oh,
for him
you're
to-
saying that Gray was coming from the opposite side.
Yeah, so he's
Well,
clear for this
so
kill
here's
specific
here's
kill.
what I
Okay,
was
so
doing.
Gray-
is I was in admin, and then I went up to the left, and I was entering the hallway above medbay, and then the meeting got called.
It's actually impossible for him to make this kill.
Wait, you were near a med bay?
No, I said I left. I was in.
I need to play this
admin,
game more because
and
I don't
then
know where
left
any of
admin
the
to
places
go
are
up
barely.
The hallway to the left above medbay, and then the meeting got called.
Oh, so you didn't make it to med bay?
No.
Okay,
kind
because
of
I
messing
swear
around
I
in
would have.
cafeteria because Alexa was being a dumbass, and I saw Biggs come out of
I've already
medbay.
called the murderer, but there's no point. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna die.
Shut up,
I already
Alexa.
told you.
I saw Biggs come
who-
out of the medway hallway and go down towards
Yeah,
Sword.
Gaytheist is one of the murders. I watched Gaytheist kill. Vote Gaytheist out.
Okay, so we're
You
voting.
literally said it was during the time that the lights out. Like we heard you say it,
Vote
and you
Gaytheist out.
can't see
I
cams when
believe
the lights are
Alexa.
out.
I believe Alexa. Let's vote Gaytheist.
Thank
I don't
you.
believe Alexa.
Thank you. Thank you. You're a lord and savior.
We are voting Gaytheist. We're voting Gaytheist.
All right, I'll vote Alexa. I guess I don't know.
I never moved. So it could have been I never even moved.
Yeah, that's true. Alexa didn't move.
I saw Gaytheist murder on cameras. And I don't know who done it. I watched it.
The second round, Alexa didn't move. They were in. That's true.
Yeah, I literally I can't explain how stupid y'all were.
Sully,
I
vote
watched
for
it.
someone.
I don't know who it is.
Who do I vote? Who do I
Why y'all
vote?
take so
We're
long?
voting for
Gaytheist.
Gaytheist. We're voting for Gaytheist. Oh, somebody's
Thank
getting
you.
a call.
Thank you. Thank you. God damn it. I'll play now.
What?
I am fucking losing it here. Other murders probably, I don't know.
Pink near electrical. Pink near electrical.
Okay, Tiger is clear. I was with him the whole game.
Where was the? You said electrical.
Yeah, pink near.
Where is
right
that in the
outside,
map?
right
Like, I'm not familiar
Bottom
with the
left.
map. The bottom left. Okay.
Bottom left. Yeah.
I was
right
just
outside.
coming back up over from the top left. Where did you see
So
anybody
Tiger-
else? I didn't see anybody coming.
Tiger, you're clear, and I'm clear, right?
I think this is pretty simple. It's Sully.
It's not me. This is ludicrous. I think it's
So
Biggs.
I
honestly.
think so. Hold on. Let's think about this, guys. TheGaytheist definitely was an imposter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who
Y'all are being
was
manipulated
Who was
easily.
not being confrontational with Gaytheist? Who
The only person
immediately
I know-
killed someone in the
Sully.
first round off of no evidence, probably because they made a fuck up.
Was that who did? Was that Sully?
Fucking Sully.
This is he's
Defend
writing
yourself,
some
please.
story. He has no evidence to back this up. If you vote me off, you guys are losing.
All right. Well, I guess
I'm
we're
not
voting.
the
So vote him off.
imposter.
Yep, I'm voting off Sully.
Biggs, do it.
I gotta go. I didn't see anything. I saw the coming from the top left down, and then I didn't really see anybody at all. So
I am a martyr. Okay.
No offense, but I feel like if Biggs was the imposter, he wouldn't make like these like high like you have to know like
Dude,
a lot of game knowledge.
he's playing you, bro. You're being played by Soren.
By Soren.
You're being played by me that stuck with Tiger the whole fucking round.
Being played by Soren.
I mean,
Made a
you
fuck up.
should have killed like when lights were off. So. You
Who
shoulda killed
knew?
when lights were off.
Who predict?
Oh,
So who's
Okay.
awkward.
I can smell it.
You just have to kill him when they come in here. Right there. Kill him. Kill Sword right there. Yeah. Go kill him.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh.
Oh, all because I don't know how to play the damn game, too. Damn it!
It's okay, Biggs. I want you to know I love you.
I know. I'm
You
sorry.
played them so well.
I know, and I felt so bad when I had to sacrifice you to the wolves.
I should have known
The crazy
because
thing was,
I so should have
Alexa
won.
saw me in the first round.
I know, and you made it.
That fucking, oh my god, you fucking moron! You're all fucking morons!
Oh, if I was quicker in this game, I would have killed you for sure.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe it's Gray. Oh my god, Gray, you're so dumb.
God, it gives me. I'm on ulcer.
That was fun. That was good, guys. Thank you. That was fun.
I was wondering the whole time. Wait, why are you doing reactor?
So first of all, I still don't understand the game because like, why does it sometimes it only shows you when something's urgent on the map, like with the arrows, but then you had to
Wait,
check the
don't
actual
start
map.
Yet. It kicked me. It kicked me. Don't start yet.
Actually, wait, I gotta go to the bathroom. Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom, so don't start yet. Hold on.
yes, Sully, what the fuck were you doing accusing Bob?
Sully's just a retard.
No,
at this
because
point.
we have such a shitty view. We have a
Saw
really
it,
bad
it's you,
viewing
Bob.
distance.
It's you. Bob, it's
Because I have a really
Okay,
bad viewing
you guys can
distance.
start now.
Start the game. Too much talking.
No, don't stop. No.
Wait,
No,
can
Biggs
you
is
make
going
the
to the restroom.
crewmate
Oh my
vision
god, you guys are
higher?
dumb.
No.
Start.
That was actually
Well, they
retarded,
were
Sully.
Big-
Big
The whole game.
said he
Yeah,
had to go to the
Sully, that was
restroom.
retarded.
He
Yeah,
said
it's
specifically.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
but
fine.
I
It's
can't
fine.
see
We're
anything.
fine. We're fine.
Alright, well.
Yeah, everyone just stand still. Everyone just stand still.
No, just play the game. It's only one person AFK. Why are
Who
you
that?
Why did Soren leave?
so strange?
Fuck.
You're
Yeah,
beta
my
play.
internet fucking- Oops. Well,
We can just restart.
Yeah, Biggs is
We're
here.
not
Yeah,
restarting. We're playing this one out.
2
Not
on
back.
8. Okay, y'all are stupid. But
I'll
okay.
just
I
watch
mean-
Biggs stream.
Just comms.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
Lars, you can play next game.
Where was he at?
I'll play later. I don't really want to play right now.
Was he just in the cafeteria?
Someone dead cafeteria.
Wait, where did Soren get killed too?
No.
Don't know.
Oh, okay. he just
No,
left.
Soren DC'd.
Okay.
I was AFK and then saw a report, but
Well, I saw Tiger go directly into auction and immediately like it was sabotage. So I think he was just waiting for people to get there to kill.
No, I was typing in the code. The last digit was a 2. Actually, thank you very much.
You walked in there and immediately it was sabotage.
No, I walked in
Yes.
there as it was going sabotage. It's not me.
I
Wait,
voted for
It was
Tiger
immediately.
because
You
I
have no grounds to vote for me. Oh my god, we can just skip.
The grounds are that
Vote.
you're a sussy bug.
Vote for
Oh my
Tiger.
God, you're not voting
Vote
for me. This is
Tiger.
I think I'm voting for
dumb.
Tiger
Sounds
too. Yeah.
I'm voting for
guilty.
Tiger.
He sounds
Sorry.
pretty guilty.
Listen
You
to
guys
the
have to be
guiltiness in
joking.
his voice.
Yeah,
What
you're
are
just
you
too
guys
sussy, man.
doing? These are so weird. You're voting for me with
Sabotaging
no
oxygen.
evidence whatsoever.
You said
I
that's
got to
oxygen.
oxygen when oxygen was called.
There's
I
a
was
lie.
already on
There's a
my
lie.
way
You
there
went in there and then you
because I had to
sabotaged it.
leave. Oh
I saw
my
what
God,
happened.
you're actually so dumb. Crazy.
Look at
You-
everyone
right.
else, Tiger. They're decided. It's time
Oh
for
my
you
God,
to
bro, you have no
vote.
information.
Hurry
This
up.
is a weird
And
thing.
vote.
I mean, if you're lying about like not being at
It
oxygen,
just
right?
pisses
you're
it
just wrong.
pisses me off
Just-
because
Vote.
you
Tiger,
guys
just
are
vote and shut
lying.
up.
No, I'm not
Vote.
voting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to wait for 80 seconds. 80
More.
seconds.
Cry
Guys,
more, you
Vote
imposter.
tonight.
We should go to
Just
the octagon.
blows
we can
my
just
man.
kick him
You
out.
guys
Wait,
don't
wait, you can vote kick,
understand.
right?
There's no
I didn't vote. I
information.
skipped.
Oh my god, I'm dead already.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no
Tiger,
information. There was
Vote.
no
Hurry up,
information.
please.
Vote,
No,
Tiger.
you guys are
Vote.
throwing me out with no
Vote,
information.
Tiger,
Oh my
vote.
god.
No
Vote,
things to
Tiger,
throw me out.
vote.
He's just
Oh.
molding because we caught him. Okay.
You didn't
He's
catch
so
me doing
mad that we
anything.
caught him.
We
I'm
caught him
mad
being an
because you guys are
imposter.
brain dead. You haven't given me any
Okay,
information. on
nobody
why-
cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Some things can't be put into words, Tiger. We just have a vibe, you know.
Yeah.
You're just sussy, bro.
Sussy.
Vote, Tiger, vote. Vote.
Can we kick him?
He is
Uh,
mad. He is so mad.
Cringe, actually.
Good.
I feel so bad for him.
You literally have no information and you voted me out.
My
No
god.
information whatsoever. Zero.
Oh.
You're
Zero.
so mad because you know
He's
it's
the
you.
imposter.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me mad that you guys threw me out with no information. I'm not doing any of my
Oh.
tasks. You guys are gonna lose the game now. Good job.
hmm.
You guys are so retarded. Like, actually, do you even play with your monitor on? Or
Tom, the game is being played. Thank you.
actually, brain dead lobby.
He laughed. He's so mad.
Yeah, I am mad. You have no information whatsoever. You just oh, it's Tiger, it's Tiger, it's Tiger, guys, it's Tiger, it's Tiger.
Hey, he left.
He got
won,
so
boys.
mad.
We won, boys. He came back.
We missed you, Tiger.
Wait, what? Oh shit! I was gonna go do a task and I ran across the body.
Oh shit.
It's right outside on the left end of cafeteria.
Wait, we were all grouped up except from Sully. Sully was like, I saw Gooey in
What's electrical?
comms. I saw Sima Smell in
Wait,
comms. I
who's
saw.
Sully? Who's Sully?
I literally
Was
went
Ga-
left to
wait,
electrical.
Was
This is
Gaytheist
awesome.
with comms?
Yeah, I was in comms, but
Awesome.
everyone
We-
fixed it.
We all
So
saw each
fun.
other. How long do we have? Like, what is it possible that we just like somebody killed and then they grouped up later?
Where was the? Where were they
Reported.
killed?
Where was Semi Smell?
Where were they
it-
killed?
Hold on. So the body was right up to the left in cafeteria, right in the entrance. I was gonna go do a fucking task and just ran across the body. I literally ran past the body. I was like, wait a minute, it said report, and ran back. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, Sima Smell was in comms for a little bit.
So Sully.
I want
I
to
mean,
hear
he's in
about. I
electrical.
want to hear the other people give a
Yeah, sure.
rational response.
Scotty, I was just in electrical. I just went down through the left. Did the beepity.
You
boppity.
only did electrical?
No, I went to the far left thing where you have to do the memorization game. You know what I'm talking about, like the cube. Where you have to.
Okay.
I did
And
that.
then after you did that,
I spun around the cameras a few times. Then I went down to electrical.
Wait,
No
the
one-
cameras,
Yeah, I saw like a red or I don't know how they work.
but comms were out.
Yeah, I spun around like the camera thing, like outside of it.
did
Oh,
you use them?
Sully is super sus.
Okay.
Are you saying you used
Wait, where's
them?
Bob been?
Did
No,
you
I
use
didn't.
the?
No,
you
I
did-
didn't.
okay,
use
so
the
you
camera.
went-
I
so you
spun
went to
around, like,
cameras,
the
but you didn't
physical
use them.
camera. No, I spun around the physical camera. I thought someone might have
Oh,
been seen.
Sully.
Okay,
I
I'm
vote
voting
Sully.
Sully. That's so stupid.
Sully.
That's just. I don't even think you're guilty. I just think that's a terrible defense.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No, I was just. I don't fucking.
Went up
know.
to cams and I just like walked around them a little bit. You know, I don't know how to press spacebar or anything, but like, yeah.
No,
Then I went
no,
down to
like the
electrical.
physical camera, like the actual like security
Yeah,
camera.
yeah,
spun
you
around.
just like went there and like spun around. Yeah.
Bob vote. Sully vote.
Oh shit. Let's go Skippy.
I'm
I'm,
going
I'm
Sully.
not
I'm going
alive,
Sully.
but I didn't see anything. I don't think he's. I think
Wait,
he's
wait,
just stupid.
Wait, Soren, you're dead.
Well, I'm DC. So.
We can't freaking talk. You freaking go.
You're a ghost.
Hey,
Winner,
let's go.
winner.
We won.
Tiger was so mad.
It was Tiger.
I knew it. I vibed him as a sussy baka from the very beginning.
Wait,
Who-
let me
who
see.
starts
1, 2,
now?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, isn't the white ghost Tiger?
Bob, hit play again. Soren. Bob, hit play again. Okay, there and start. Whoever can do it, start.
Oh my god, it was Tiger. He was.
Yeah, it was.
No,
Yeah.
make the
he was
imposters
just so
one. Make
mad.
it one.
That
Make
was
it
the
one.
worst
Oh.
like explanation where you were. I was like in there
Oh my
spinning.
god.
I spun around. I literally spun around the physical camera. I don't know.
How
How
did
to
we
Why
win?
you go up to cameras and just like spin?
No.
like
Can
here,
make
show
it
you. I'll show
one?
you what I meant. Like I spun around this.
Because
I-
Tiger was lying.
Guys,
Can we
like,
even make it one imposters?
No. No.
But the game will be over soon
Yeah,
if that's the case.
I feel like
There's no reason to steal
no.
away from the
I feel
imposters.
like that you want to be an imposter. People voted no. That's sussy. Why'd you leave the game?
I don't want to play
Oxygen,
anymore.
oxygen.
Bye, guys.
game's about to end anyway.
Oh,
Holy shit. I
He
guess
was
that-
Why the fuck did
Imposter.
no one do oxygen? You're
Oh.
I
retarded.
just got imposter. Come on.
I
Everybody
did.
left,
I
yeah.
almost did both oxygen.
Yeah, I think now is a good time to cut off. I think too many people just got tired.
No, that was retarded.
It was so.
Gee,
That
everyone.
Tiger-
Tiger
Tiger
was
was
actually
actually
the
the
imposter. I was
imposter.
like,
The highlight is I have two highlights. It was when Clock Guy was imposter, and it was when TheGaytheist fucking molded.
all right, who's gonna make the new lobby?
Wait, what did I
or
do?
sorry, Tiger, not GayTheist, Tiger fucking molded.
Yeah,
and left.
molding. Yeah, because I fucking sussed him, dude.
My,
What the
my
I'm so
favorite
angry.
moment
Yeah.
was the time I literally witnessed like two people go into a room, and then I saw Soren come in, and I couldn't recall for the life of me who was the
Yeah.
I literally could have won us the game.
No, here's the thing. Here's
Yeah,
the
how many
whole thing.
times did the game get dragged out because GayTheist like couldn't remember who was in the
Hold
camera?
on, hold on. Here's the whole thing. I watched GayTheist murder. I watched GayTheist literally murder Clock Guy. I was like, well, we don't have any proof.
Yeah.
I was so like, oh, I don't want to throw him under the bus, so I'm gonna wait. And then it was like, okay, he's fine. And then the next round, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna vote with everybody else because if I don't, it's gonna look sus.
Fucking wow, what a long con, Boomer Biggs. Oh, I don't know how to play the game.
I really don't know how to play the game still, though. That is true.
Are we still playing?
If I would have known how
I
to
think
play
I'm
the
gonna-
game, I would have won
think
because I would have
I'm
actually
gonna
been able
take
to
off
click
and
the
go to
thing.
bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
is a nice one.
I had a really busy day.
Well, thank you guys all for hanging out.
Yeah.
Let me
For
stream
sure.
this
Yeah.
awesome activity.
Oh, yeah, bro. Alright, see you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Peace.
See you guys later.
So,
GG.
All right. So I'm gonna end my stream here. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been fun. The Among Us was very good. I have never played this game. This is the first time, so thought I did pretty good. I could have won that game where I was the imposter, but failed. So thank you all for hanging out again. I'm gonna raid. Let's see who's streaming tonight. Let's go with trade Ninetales. Yeah, let's raid Ninetales Cosmic Fox. Thank you all for hanging out. Peace.